Coming to you from Blue Crew Studio in Temecula, California, it's the Whiskey Throttle Show, taking you inside the lives and careers of the legends and leaders of action sports. Today's guest is brought to you by Yamaha. Yamaha is the industry leader in 2- and 4-wheel fun and performance. Motocross, off-road, adventure, side-by-side, Yamaha sets the standard. Yamaha revs your heart. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by motosport.com. It doesn't matter if you like to pull a throttle cable on a dirt bike, street bike, side-by-side. Motosport.com is putting riders first with parts, gear, and accessories, including some of our partners like Troy Lee Designs, Dunlop, Pro Circuit, and more. They offer first returns free on apparel so you can buy with confidence. And Motosport.com offers fast, free shipping on all orders over $79. Make your next ride your best ride. Visit Motosport.com. Troy Lee made a name for himself as the most elite helmet painter in all forms of motorsport racing. His ability to make a stationary object look fast is something rare. That creativity gave way to motocross and mountain bike gear, helmets, and an arsenal of protective equipment aimed at keeping racers on the track and out of a doctor's office. The 2025 TLD line is out, and it's as fast as ever. Troy Lee Designs, blending speed and style. Rockform, creators of the world's strongest magnetic phone case. They have mounts for your car, motorcycle, and bicycle, as well as universal mounts to adhere your phone to any surface. They also have screen protectors, power banks, stands, chargers, and more. And don't forget the G-Rock wireless golf speaker. Magnets adhere this powerful speaker to your cart, or any metallic surface for that matter, so you have tunes while you golf, work, or hang out. Rockform, always innovating the phone case market. Rockwell designs all their sunglasses in their U.S. headquarters in Utah. Then they are manufactured in Italy using the strictest craftsmanship standards, ensuring you get the best pair of sunglasses you've ever owned. From men's and women's designs, floatable, alloy frame, and a UV 400 rating, which blocks out 100% of UV rays, Rockwell has everything you need for you and your family. Use our code WT20 for 20% discount at checkout at rockwelltime.com. Hey folks, thanks for joining us here in Blue Crew Studios. It's the Whiskey Throttle Show, and we've got a cool guest on today. Somebody I've known a long, long time, and I'm very excited to dive into his story. Lifelong motorcycle enthusiast and racer who just happens to also be the owner of the Budds Creek Motocross facility. Jonathan Beasley, welcome.
Hey David, so good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't think I've been out to your place since 2002 or maybe 2003.
That's time flies.
It sure does.
It does. It's 30-some nationals, and they all blend together, but there's some amazing events that, just stick out solidly.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about it. I got questions about all that stuff. Our motosport.com gate drop guys, get over there to motosport.com, get everything you need. It ships right to you. You don't even have to get off your butt. Just stay on the couch, order your gear, your parts, whatever you need. Motosport.com, awesome company. Tell me about it. How's everything at Budds Creek right now? I mean, like I said, I haven't been there in so long. Every time I watch it on TV, it just seems like it gets nicer and nicer. You guys do such a great job. How are things out there?
Everything's absolutely good. I sold the racetrack to my son 3 years ago, and the way I actually ended up with the property at Budds Creek, I was 6 years old driving by with my father, who was an avid hunter. By the way, his grandfather is buried right at Loretta Lynn's, where you sign the releases.
Oh, yeah?
When they open Loretta Lynn's, I'm visiting my grandmother. She says, "Where have you been for the last few days?" I said, "This new racetrack, it's 70 degrees. I've come to 100 miles to come get you. You'll see what a great racetrack I own." And we're on our way down Route 40 in Tennessee, and she says, "Where have you been?" And I told her Loretta Lynn's. She says, "That used to be my grandfather's farm." And I knew how to breathe from... I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to hyperventilate. That was your grandfather's farm. And we were the dirt farmers next door. It's a graveyard when you're first pulling off the highway.
Wow.
And that was so ironic.
And he sold it to Loretta Lynn?
No. They were completely separate properties. If you're familiar with Loretta's, where you take a left to go into the facility, there's a graveyard right there on the left, 100 feet in, up on the hill. But the farmhouse and the farm was to the right. It's all overgrown forest now. But Granny told me where it was, and during that COVID year when I was down in, I took a walk up the stream far enough to find the foundation of her grandfather's house.
Wow. Is that all that's left? Like a chimney and a foundation?
No, just the foundation, and I brought one brick home.
Wow. That's crazy. Cool history. You guys are kind of expanding. I mean, you've got Loretta's qualifiers now. What other big events you guys hold throughout the year?
You know something? I've been not involved at all. My son Ezra's here. He'll pull some of those up, but we've had Loretta's since they came out, and that was my biggest mess up in my motocross promotion career. My very first Loretta Lynn's, and it's a regional. We sat at my house, which is 15 miles away from the racetrack, and it rains 2.5 inches. We shoot pool until midnight and then go to bed, and we get to the racetrack, and it has not rained one drop. And this is the middle, of June. And so we're fighting. It was only fire hose back then, no sprinklers, one fire hose. We're spraying water on a racetrack all night long. And then the deluge that missed the racetrack was a nor'easter. And then that next evening, it was pummeled it so badly that in the 125 C class, 2 guys made it 1 lap.
Oh, my gosh.
First and second place. Congratulations.
The struggles of race promotion right there, huh?
Getting motorhomes out of the parking lot is the struggle of race promotion.
I'll bet it is. Well, I've got more questions about all that, so we're going to dive into it. You just mentioned you had a knee replacement. I'm headed down that path. How are you physically, man? You doing okay?
My body's falling apart. I ended up with a genetic arthritis, and, motocross takes a little thing called balance, which I can't even spell, and I tore my body up a lot. You don't need to be a major in physics. 230 pounds times 30 miles an hour times 30 feet off the ground hurts.
Yes, it does. And it catches up to all of us, I feel like.
It does. I'm getting the shoulder replaced on the 19th of this month. The other knee as soon as my shoulder heals. And I broke my hip and pelvis in 2007. And believe it or not, at the same side I just had the knee replaced. It's hurt worse than the knee has the whole time.
Well, the hips are easy, I've heard. I heard you're up and out, and within a week you don't even...
I believe it. I believe it when I see it. But no, thank God they got it all. I mean, my body's in so much pain. It's just the only relief I get are Michael Jackson sleeping pills.
Gosh, yeah, it stinks. I hate talking about it too much, but it is definitely a downside of these things we love called dirt bikes. Well, cool. Let's get into your story. I want to first shoot everyone over to WhiskeyThrottleMedia.com, guys. We got moto, off-road, dual sport content, a brand new line of merch, so check that out. All kinds of cool stuff going on over there. WhiskeyThrottleMedia.com. Let's get to our guest story. It's brought to you by Yamaha. If you guys aren't riding with the Blue Crew, you're missing out. And you were telling me a story about the logo. This shirt here shows the motorsport logo. If the tuning fork tines go into the circle, that's the motorsport logo. If they're just inside of it, that's music. And they get very, very particular about how it goes. Better make sure I got it right. Yeah, that one's right. Okay. So you get it wrong, they'll tell you about it. And you had to pull down banners because they
Yamaha had been a long-time sponsor, and without them knowing, and because of the stock car track, I had a very good relationship with a sign painter. And 10 minutes before the national anthem on National Sunday, a Yamaha rep taps me on the shoulder and says, "These are billboards, 4 of them around the racetrack with the music logo in the middle of them. And you need to take them down. That's the music logo, and they can't be seen." I said, "They're all hiding bulldozers. I can have them gone almost instantaneously." He said, "Okay, well, that's okay." And then a week later, Yamaha sent me all brand new signs to cover those.
I would say 99.5 people out of 100 would never spot the difference.
Nobody would know.
Right?
I didn't know. My sign guy didn't know. Until that Yamaha guy rep walked up to me. I said, "Timing's everything. There's 10 minutes to go."
Yeah, you needed that stress, huh? Well, tell me a little bit about your upbringing. Where were you born and raised?
I grew up in a town called Leonardtown, Maryland. It's the county seat of St. Mary's County. It's south of the racetrack. And I actually had a great life. My dad, he unfortunately died when I was 9 years old. The way Budds Creek comes into the family at age 6, I'm riding by. He's got a white Porsche. He used to go elk hunting in Wyoming once a year using a century-old rifle, and he 21 deer in the front field, a for sale sign the size of an envelope. He bought it right then and there. My first stepfather, he died 2 years later in '68, and my first stepfather got my brother and I into motocross racing, and there were a lot of tracks in Maryland, and the one that was closest to us was run by the Terra Motorcycle Club, mainly naval officers, and when the Japanese got in, it went from being 50 at a race to being 500 at a race, and they had no parking at all. It was like you parked in their driveway.
So he bought the land to be a hunting property?
He bought the land to hunt, and completely. There were literally 21 deer sitting there.
Yeah, it's probably great. You know, it's got basins to catch water and all trees. It was probably full of wildlife.
Yep, it still is. I love, that's the one thing I miss is working. I used to love running the heavy equipment, and I miss running my tractor at daybreak. Deer, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Eagles.
So he bought it. Your stepdad gets you into racing when you're what, 6, you said?
12.
Oh, 12, okay.
Yeah, my dad died at 9. Stepfather at 12.
And you had nothing to do with bikes up to that point?
Nope.
Okay. No, wasn't really around or anything else. Okay. What were you into as a kid? What were you guys doing?
Just hyperactive. Nobody knew what that was back then. But I was just an average kid growing up in a small town.
These days they'd have put you on a Ritalin and all kinds of stuff. Right?
Oh, man, it's crazy. I hurt myself enough in high school on a motorcycle that a college degree was worth more than a motorcycle career.
Yeah, I think good on you for spotting that, because I think a lot of people hold on to the dream too long and they pay the price for it. So any siblings?
I have one of each. I have a younger brother who, this is very funny. The day I graduated from college, my mother, we were the only racetrack not paying A riders on the East Coast. We're giving out 4 trophies for 50 riders, or for 30 riders in a class, 3 trophies. 1 for 10, basically. Everybody else is given 1 for 4. My mother's going to buy me any car I want. Mom, what I want is right up your alley. Please never set foot on the property again. 4 years later is my first national. All the kids that worked for me were all college students. There was a local college, so all educated. I have interstate toll lanes. There's 18 toll lanes set up, 10 on my property, 8 over at the drag strip, if you're familiar. So we could have taken a heck of a lot of cars through the line. I hand my mother 16 college girls at 7 o'clock in the morning saying they all have tickets. They're all inventoried. My last words, let everybody take turns now while it's slow, so they'll have the hang of it. At 1 o'clock, a state trooper not working for me calls me and says, well, traffic's backed up 7 miles on 234. We've closed the road down. We just wanted to let you know. I go out and look, and she had sent 14 college girls home at 8 o'clock in the morning, and my mother and her 2 little old lady friends are trying to collect from an entire crowd at an AMA Motocross National. My brother, her first race, we busted our asses building that place. He's got a couple hundred of them down by the front gate collecting money from them. I rode up to him and stood up on the foot pegs. I said, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and welcome to Bud's Creek. And I looked at my brother and I said, get on the back of the bike now. 10 minutes till the start of the first moto that we worked our asses off to see. And
just let everybody in?
Oh, 3/4 of the people would walk through the woods. It was nuts.
Jeez.
Yeah. Mom was fired from then on. Godspeed.
Not everybody that gets to fire their mother.
Godspeed.
Yeah. Well, wow. That's a crazy. That was your first one?
That was my first national.
And what year?
89.
Okay.
And
89. So who would have won that year? RJ?
RJ crashed so hard that year he looked like he'd lost a fight to Mike Tyson. I can't even believe this was practice on Sunday morning, and I can't believe he got up and rode the first moto. He had a black eye like he'd been in a bar fight. He crashed off big time. And he didn't ride the second moto, but Wardy won the first 2 motos, first 2 years at Bud's in the 500. And then I think Bale won one of them. When Bale got mad and was going, this is one of the saddest things. So John Michelle Bale, who I thought was one of the most gifted riders that ever threw a leg over a motorcycle, I got to go to a lot of the European Grand Prix. When you own the racetrack, it's a tax write-off. Who cares what the exchange rate is? So, but yeah, had some good times over there. And just amazing how much the world's changed.
Oh, I know. And I've got something in here about that. Just I want to, pick your brain about that. But what about what did you do with JMB over there? You have a pretty good relationship with him?
I did.
He was a interesting character.
He was an amazing rider, and I think he had a brother that was also a professional, but not to that caliber. And so anyway, Bale he'd already won the other three classes, the 250, the 500, and the Supercross. And he decides he wants to win the 125 class to have all four of them. I think Jeff Ward did that. And so he's riding the 125 class, and he's got a 100-point lead halfway through the series. Troy, Ohio, Mike Kradowski, his own teammate, lands on his wrist and breaks his wrist. He's supposed to be out for the rest of the season, but he comes back for Budds Creek. There were Budds Creek and Steel City left. And the man has morals and honors. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
There's some things are left that motocross is a great sport.
That was a nice answer. Yeah, well, he was incredible. There's races, Tampa 92, maybe one of the craziest performances I've ever seen in the last two laps.
And I'll tell you what was funny. There were lines that David Bailey would take. And, I mean, we all grew up in the same district. And I'm like, who the hell would go? And this is when he was in the pros. Who the hell would go there? And the next person I see go there is John Michelle Bale a decade later, maybe two. But David Bailey could find the smoothest line around a racetrack like nobody.
Yeah. I truly think if you're looking at sort of evolution in riding technique, DeCoster was probably the standard. Then it went David Bailey, then it went John Michelle Bale, and now you're seeing Jet Lawrence.
Oh,
just because you watch them in each of their eras, and I didn't get to see Rogers. That's just what
I was lucky.
You were lucky, and I want to hear about it. But from watching David, it was like perfection. You just went, that's how you're supposed to look on a motorcycle. Yeah. And with Bale,
and smooth. And
whether you liked the way his style looked or his gear, he always wore Taichi and kind of weird stuff, but like Oxbow. But what he could do, just technically, a whole other level. And now Jet's doing the same thing again.
Stefan Everts, they're forgetting about you.
I mean U.S. Racing. U.S. Racing. Stefan, I do not. That is no disrespect, because you're right. 100%. 100%. I'm thinking more U.S.-based stuff.
I was messing with you.
No, he is incredible. In fact, he probably mostly similarly would be compared to Jet. Just the way they're constantly on their feet. A little bit lankier. Anyway, very cool. You got to see a lot of those eras. All of them.
Very fortunate.
Did you see Roger back like Trans Am days?
Yeah, it was one at Lake Sugar Tree, as a matter of fact. And we were talking about Roger and funny stories. This is way different. This is 15 years down the road. Ricky Johnson has a line 100 people long to get an autograph in the back of his box van, and Roger's sitting in a lawn chair inside. I patiently wait in line, and I said to Ricky Johnson, "Excuse me, sir, I just wanted his autograph only so I could frame it."
Oh my gosh. I'm sure he got that.
Oh, I know.
A bit,
But that was the first time I actually ever met and talked to Roger, was at Lake Sugar Tree that day, after telling Ricky, "Thank you, please don't ruin my program."
Nice. Well, so you got to see him race? I mean, what stands out about?
What stands out about him? Holy Toledo. There's everything that stands out about him. The man was so smooth. I mean, it was like crazy. Tony DeStefano almost beat him at Lake Sugar Tree, though. I mean,
really?
By a meter.
Tony D was a savage.
And he was a big boy, too. I'm big. Yeah. I like it. Tony could go.
Yeah.
And John Dowd, he was my favorite.
Yeah, you're a Junkyard Dog fan, huh?
Yeah. He actually stayed at my house once.
So what was your first bike when you got into it?
First bike was a Yamaha Mini Enduro. And
what year?
It would have been 1972.
Okay.
Still, I worked my butt off to get that bike.
Mini enduro, were you big for that?
I was big for that, but I hadn't even started to grow yet. And thank God I didn't find this out till 5 years later, but my travel buddies, because I was the youngest in my class, and my travel buddies were coming down the road one night from a race, and I said something about my Yamaha. And we used to have one, and here they realized whose Yamaha they'd stolen.
They stole your bike?
Yes, and they admitted to it, and were halfway through the sentence, caught himself. And I was like, you son of a bitches.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
I don't know, with friends like that.
Hey.
What was the motorcycle scene like back then? I mean, motocross was pretty rare. It was more scrambles and flat track and things like that.
Yeah, when I got into it, well, there were actually Greg Botwell, who was my absolute hero from Maryland. We sat down one night and we figured out there were 27 different motocross tracks in Maryland over the course of the years.
Okay.
The last one, the two famous ones just closed within the past 15 years, or 93, Aquasco closed.
That was Pastrana's stomping grounds.
Yeah. And that was nice having him. What really stunk about the districts and the AMA back then, because Travis wanted to stay in the C class. The 2 or 3 times a year I'd see him at Maryland, as long as you went out of district to Pennsylvania or to New York or someplace, a faraway race, the points never showed up at the AMA. It was not a nationwide point system, so most of his mini bike races were, at the one Suzuki sent him to.
Right.
I'd see him a couple times a year where he'd mysteriously fall at the bottom of the finish line hill every time, just to sit there and let everybody go by for no points. But watching Travis grow, I've never seen such a perfect gentleman.
You know what? I know. I say this all the time. People think it's kind of a show, or that's him putting on an air.
Not.
It's not. That is him.
That is him.
He's the most genuine,
he'll walk
sweet
home.
guy.
If you want an autograph and he's going to miss his ride, he'll walk home.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that guy. Tell me a little bit about the East Coast experience, because I feel like, and I've never lived back there, but it seems a lot different than out here. We have a lot of, and it's rapidly getting built over with houses, but we have a lot of open land.
Yeah.
This, where I'm sitting now, I used to be able to just ride from here and go out into the hills and carve tracks and whatever. We can still go to, Ocotillo Wells, Johnson Valley, Glamis, even Beaumont, and there's spots we can get into open land and ride. You guys don't really have that. Everything back east is privately owned.
Yeah.
And it's a little different.
None of that.
Yeah.
I think Pennsylvania has a couple. The Hatfield and McCoy trails in West Virginia is probably one of the best laid out systems in the country. You can rent quads there. You can rent dirt bikes there. It's all interconnected where you can go for days without seeing asphalt and stay in nice bed and breakfast on the way.
But so, if you got to find a place like that to ride, or a track.
Yeah, you got to find a place like that to ride. There's good series. I mean, there's all kinds of enduro type series and hair scramble series up and down. And we actually just had one. My son put together a race. I won't call them. There's a racetrack that was a dirt bike practice track next door to us that was able to open because of us being noisy, so the noise was already there. And it was the first time we'd ever interconnected the two properties. So there's...
like a big GP?
Exactly. The Hare Scrambles guys had, a 15-mile course instead of an 8.
Cool.
So that was very cool to see all that.
And I feel like the kind of one of the outcomes of those differences is your events are well attended, whether it's the J-Day stuff in the Northeast or just any kind of races you guys have, you get pretty good attendance because it's hard to find places during the week. We're out here, there's 2 tracks, 3 tracks every day of the week that are watered, prepped, and open. And so the racing out here has suffered. You go to a race on a weekend, it's really weak compared to what it used to be.
That exact same thing happened in Maryland. And one of my Maryland students from business school tells me 30 years ago when these 3 practice tracks opened within 2 years, and my business dropped a third from the racing because it was much smarter to go pay $40 and ride all day. And no, man, I'm not going to ever open for open practice. I'm just going to stay an exclusive motocross track. And that was my theory for decades. And it's hard to find legal places to go ride.
Yeah.
We open for practice, but maybe once a month, one weekend a month, we'll open for practice.
Okay. So you guys are still kind of holding true to that, not doing a ton of practicing. That's good. I think it preserves your track too. Because the more people you put on it, the dirt starts going away, and
that's what they make bulldozers for. That was my favorite part of the job.
All right. So when you got a bike and started going, did you race right away, or were you guys just sort of riding for fun?
No, we raced right away, and so that first race in Hollywood, those people were closed down that day. The Navy officers that ran that club, I mean, when the Japanese got in, it was down a small back road that there were people parked for a mile in each direction. They were racing, pitting on the side of a 2-lane highway, with no shoulder, so it was tight. So they got closed down. The original track, they came out, and the Penton dealer from Maryland came, and the way the original track was laid out, they'd paid for a giant bulldozer, and it was a thick forest, nothing but a forest, and I was a hyperactive 13-year-old. It couldn't have been a better marriage. And so the original track was laid out where they could knock the trees down to go between the big giant oaks and whatnot. So
similar to where it is now?
Almost. A lot of it's in the exact same location, but a couple of the original parts, the uphill triple on the backside, that's original. And you used to go to the top of that hill and then just go straight across the top and drop into Henry Valley at 40 miles an hour.
Okay.
That was kind of interesting.
That's the Brian Deegan line. I think he cheated there. He kept cutting some real good lap times one year, and then someone had video of him just go right across there.
If you don't know what he's talking about, 1989, my first national, 3 months after the national's over, Motocross Action comes out with a beautiful photograph. And every year after that, we had to definitely put a fence up along there.
People were going, that's been...
No, that was just him. The best one ever is Jason Lawrence in the middle of a national moto. It's pouring rain, and he just pulls off the motocross track during the 30 minutes plus 2 laps, does a couple of laps around the supercross track, then gets back on and finishes the moto. I love Scott Sokovic, his manager, but boy, I bet that was kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, Scott had his hands full there for a few years. Yeah. Jason's kind of back on the scene and racing, and I think he's great. He's, he's grown up a bit.
Well, here's a good one about his growing up theory. At 15 years old, he's just one of Loretta Lynn's, and he thinks that it'd be smart to show off in front of all the A-riders waiting there to take the key out of my quad and to throw it into a 30-yard dumpster. Budds Creek is a dangerous racetrack. When the medics get called, usually the first one there is me. And I didn't like not having a quad. He gets a letter in the mail at age 15, certified from the state of Maryland. You are no longer welcome at Budds Creek. 2 pages of a certified Maryland letter, and at the bottom a little P.S. from my handwriting. If you can grow up and act like an adult on Father's Day, you're welcome to come then. So
good for you.
For a year, and for a page and a half, he thought he just screwed up his whole pro career.
Yeah.
And that was pretty
wow. Cool. Yeah, well, he rolled car. He got into...
No, I'll tell you more Jason Lawrence stories from Budds Creek, but I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Some are best left untold. Who'd you grow up riding and racing with? Was there anybody in your crew that kind of went on to race, or that we?
I won. Actually, I was very, very lucky. A rider who just passed when he was a pro rider, but he was a Team Green rider, and I used to let him. His parents would take me with them on their trips, to those fancy-ass, big-ass races. And here I am in the C class, and here he is in the A class. And Godspeed, Jeff Lanahan. You were a good man. He froze to get death on a park bench 2 years ago in Annapolis, a pro rider. And it's a shame. The injuries in this sport, the pain level is astronomical. Pain is my friend. I just learned to smile.
Well, it's not really a joking matter. There's been a long history of guys with that pain comes pain pills and addiction to that, and it takes
That's
a
exactly,
hard,
yeah.
it's a hard turn.
It's our sport can have some sad endings, but it's cool to see you and have a happy one.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot of those too. But
I know tons. I love Albertine. I keep up on his post motocross career.
He's great.
Yeah,
Albie's just one of my favorite all time guys. Who are your kind of the guys you looked up to back then?
So on those races, I only won one race in my entire life. Farrell McCullough and I went to. He actually quit when we got to college. He won the first two. It wasn't at Loretta's until 1982.
It was Ponca, right?
No, it wasn't at Ponca. Those were two competing series. There used to be a national in Texas at a beautiful racetrack, and the same guy that he started that GNC series to compete against at Lake Whitney. And Lake Whitney, when they took it, now went up on, they put $1 million worth of dirt on the side of an ancient coral reef, and they go up on a hill. The racetrack was hillier than Budds Creek last time I saw. But yeah, he had been some good racetracks I've seen come and go.
Whitney was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
Incredible dirt, just perfect venue. I don't know what happened there.
It's a hunting preserve now. I think 4,500 acres, if I'm not mistaken. But wild, like African.
Like exotic animal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Big. I'm sorry, I don't kill anything.
I'm not a hunter. I mean, I get probably some heat from that, being from Montana and not being a hunter or a fisherman, but.
Same. Oh, and my father's three favorite things: hunting, fishing, and golfing.
You don't do any?
I'm sorry, Dad.
Well, we all got to carve our own path. So where did your racing career go? Kind of take us through that.
It went straight to the emergency room.
Okay. So
I spent half my high school on crutches, and but no, I just, my mom actually told me it was the second time I'd gotten hurt and had to leave my own racetrack during a Budds Creek race. Said to me, "You need to make up the decision right now whether you're going to run this racetrack or ride this
or keep
racetrack."
leaving here in an ambulance.
Yeah. And so anyway, after that, it was just riding other racetracks. But what was bad, because we rode there every day. So when, I got out of control, I was not capable of getting back in control. It was just like, whoops.
Whoops. Where's the ambulance? Okay, so you kind of explained how you found the track and your first race there. I mean, take us through the progression of, it had to be pretty rudimentary back then. I go back and look, even 93, the first season I did some racing, and I just did Glen Helen that year. I did a handful in 94. You watch those on TV versus what we see now, and I mean, it's aesthetically and in a lot of ways way better.
Yeah, that's true.
Take me through that evolution.
The evolution of coming with motocross. It's just with the pro side of it, the MPG started. AMA started a for-profit corporation, and it ended up just growing from, where you saw nothing but fence lines to where you see now nothing but advertising banners. And I think it's great. I mean, it's nice. It'd be nice to see the people I've always worried about the most were the privateers. They put more effort into our sport, and they're the reason that our sport exists. And I've always gone out of my way. We had practices at Budds Creek. Pro riders did not have to pay. Thank you for putting on the show.
Tell the story about how you got the national too. So you had the track up and running, and did it start as a flat track only?
No, the track started as in 1972. The motocross was the first one built. My stepfather was into stock cars, so that got built. And so the very first race there was just absolutely amazing. We had tracks in Maryland back then had experimented with used oil. Putting oil on a motocross track and then plowing it in. It kept the dust down very good, but it definitely screwed up your motorcycle. Took you gasoline and take it apart to clean it. So after we got through that, we run amateur races. I told you about the first Loretta lens that I screwed up totally.
So did you guys put oil on the track?
We actually had much.
Yeah.
Hold on. The statute of limitations is up.
Well, no, even I remember growing up in Montana, they would oil the dirt roads.
Yes. Well, we actually did that to the motocross track. And a few of the tracks in Maryland did. As a matter of fact, I mentioned a couple just closed down. The most recent one that closed down was Antietam Motocross Park in Hagerstown. That was the oldest continually operating motocross in America.
Oh, wow.
Which was really cool. And it precedes Budds Creek by 4 years.
What caused their closure?
Housing developments. Just the encroachment of everything. But that's basically seems to be the way it is now. I'm curious to see the electric dirt bikes. Maybe in another century there might be a dirt bike track in every town, but it'd be nice. The noise, I think, with the four strokes, and also we talked about taking a third of a hit with the practice tracks when they opened. When they went to four strokes and the price of racing a dirt bike every weekend doubled, that took another, that took it down to 50% of what we used to have, at our average amateur event.
Yeah. Yeah, gosh, I hate to hear all that. So how did it, take me through the years of it evolving?
Anyway, 1987, I think, was the year it was. And Dave Coombs Sr., the man I admire more than I think he was my North Star in the sport. He was compassionate. He was fair. And Dave tells Roy Jansen, who is the most honest person I've ever seen in this sport. And, above, he's the man who would not take a bribe, let's put it that way. And he'd tell on you for even trying to give it to him. So Roy Jansen is coming into Washington, D.C. to lobby Congress of the United States on some issue. Dave Coombs Sr. says, get the earliest airplane you can get. Go find this place called Budds Creek in southern Maryland. We're walking around the racetrack. It's a smoking hot 100-degree day. And we're halfway around the racetrack, and Roy Jansen looks at me. How come I've never heard of this place? It's one of the nicest racetracks I've ever seen. Sir, until 3 years ago, every penny went up my nose. Since then, every penny's gone back into this racetrack. The next words out of his mouth, we've known that all along. Where's the nearest phone? 100-degree day, I'm standing outside a phone booth a half mile from the racetrack listening to him tell his secretary to please add Budds Creek to the national schedule. And that's how we ended up meeting.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Roy's great.
Yeah,
he's a wonderful human.
Roy is great. This is a great story. Roger DeCoster, who was actually kind enough to be my best man, he, 1993, I run a 250 World Championship. That was when after you had to pay to get the show here. Unadilla said, we don't want it anymore. The manufacturers, I was terrified that winter. The manufacturers had gone to the AMA and said, look, we're going to 28 races next year. You pick which 28. And they dropped two nationals. Lake Sugar Tree didn't have a national, and Unadilla didn't have a national. Over a phone call with Roy Jansen, Roy, if I give up my national to run the Grand Prix, can I get my national back if I decided I made a mistake? Yep, no problem whatsoever. No contract, no papers, no nothing. Roger DeCoster runs a one-moto fiasco out at Glen Helen in the middle of August.
That was my first national.
In the middle, that was my national.
Oh.
So anyway, Roger ran it 10 minutes before the national anthem at the first Grand Prix I ever had, which was 1993. By the way, Budds Creek, Maryland to Carlsbad is a long way. I wanted to do this so badly when I grew up that I hitchhiked 3 times from 15 miles south of Budds Creek, Maryland to Carlsbad, California.
You hitchhiked?
3 times. And Garrett Walsink won all 3 of them.
Wow.
Yes, to come see it. And it was funny because I am half Spanish. And the guy, the trash crew afterwards, the day after, I said, hey, can I help you guys and earn some money? And they paid me twice what they were paying everybody else.
Oh, yeah?
But it blew me away. The one thing I remember the most, I couldn't tell you how much the ticket prices were, but it was so hot. And a Coca-Cola was $2.
Which back then was crazy, huh?
I know, that's like 20 today.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
You're happy to pay it, probably.
I was happy to pay it. I was standing there panhandling. No, I was a well-done hitchhiker. I was in the Boy Scouts, so it turned out the Boy Scout backpack is neon red so we can be seen in the forest. And every Boy Scout that passed me knew I was safe to pick up. I got across country faster than I could driving practically.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, as long as I was born in 75, and I've always never pick up a hitchhiker. That's always been a thing, right? I know people still do, but you could, back then, no problem, just got across the country.
And then this is even better. So this is after I have a driver's license and a car. And my whole life, I couldn't figure out why I hitchhiked to Unadilla when they had their first Grand Prix. And 5 years ago, I'm telling somebody about my car accident. Thank God it was Thursday, July 13th, 1978, not Friday. I was like, that's why I hitchhiked to Unadilla. No car.
So you give up your national, you run the GP. Roger does that thing here. It was smoggy and hot and miserable. That was the first national I ever did. And what happened? Did you get your you said?
Well, it was the first year that the World Championships were worldwide television. I went to all four of the manufacturers. In the 80s, in the 70s, every factory rider in America showed up at a Grand Prix to try to qualify. If there's open spots on the gate, they're available to the host country. So every factory rider in America would show up. It'd be like a motocross to nations at a GP. In the 80s, you were lucky if you had two American factory riders show up and risk their careers for, racing for fun. But I'm sorry, it's not fun. It's serious. But so 93 comes around, World Motocross television contract. I go to all four of the OEM, the manufacturers, and the big teams, and I said, hey, look, I'll give you title sponsorships of this race. I don't want a penny. Your semis are on the East Coast. I want your riders. It was like having the Motocross to Nations. Every American factory rider in America was there. So 10 minutes before the national anthem, I'm expecting a Motocross to Nations type crowd. And I'm like, boy, I have more people than this on Saturday at my national. I looked at Roy Jansen and said, I'll take my national back next year. And then 4 months later, he calls me and said, would you like to do both? And I'm sorry, I'm a sucker that thinks I can fix something. And boy, I do like that international scene of motocross. Yeah. So I did one in 94. And then Mr. Longo with Giuseppe Longo.
Better turnout in 94 or no?
No, same. Both of them 6 figures. Expensive T-shirts I have. But that was when you had to pay to get the people here. That was nuts. And so then the sport that is now involved with it, Giuseppe Longo, he takes over. And I have to prove to him that I can run it. And it actually is still in the FIM rule book that you have to run a Grand Prix before you can have a Motocross to Nations. So to prove to them that I could run a Grand Prix in the Motocross to Nations, I ran the 2009 one, which is sad because everybody was showing up, and it's just inner politics were. It's a great sport we have.
I love motocross.
I'm sorry. Some things I just cannot talk about.
Well, I mean, look, sadly, nothing is untouched by politics.
Yeah.
Or very little, right? And so you can do everything right. You can be the most straight arrow guy in the world and sometimes still get hosed down by the political things. So.
I do have one more statement. My 2 Grand Prix in 93 and 94, my 2 favorite riders, Trampus Parker and Bobby Moore, you were both hurt for your home Grand Prix 2 years in a row. I wished you'd been there. We would have had at least 3,000 more people. Oh, and thank you to Kevin Windham for motivating the Americans to show up for the 99 GP. Stephen Everts, if you're not familiar with this, because none of the Americans were riding the Grand Prix. And so anyway, none of the Americans were riding the Grand Prix. And they Stephen Everts called us out, and that's when Kevin Windham came out and kicked their butt.
Oh, yes. That's right. I remember that.
He didn't sign up till 3 days before the event, so there wasn't much time for advertising. This was pre-internet.
Huh. Interesting. Jeez. So who won the 92, 93 rounds, or 93, 94?
93 was Stephen Everts, and 94, let me give that one. Oh, Yves DeMaria. He won 3 or 4 GPs in a row. And this is sad because as a country, the host country, when you host a Grand Prix, you're allowed 10 American riders. Every other country, and I've been to Grand Prix in Europe where there were 120 to 140 riders trying to qualify for 40 spots on the gate. So anybody could show up. You could work your way down. And when it used to be that way at the AMA Nationals also. Unadilla always had the biggest crowd, and we always had the second biggest. But to try to go from 250 riders, so you're talking 120 in each class, down to 40, and that's why it was a 2-day program back then.
Yeah, now the GPs, the way they're doing it now, they can't even fill a gate.
I know. It is sad.
Yeah. So tell me some of the things about running a national that people don't know. Like, tell me about how it, kind of soup to nuts. How does it work running a national? How does it look? I've never had a national promoter on.
Well,
we've been bugging Ryan Huffman because I think those guys do a phenomenal job.
That's Ezra just asked me, says, is there any other racetrack where you can see the whole racetrack no matter where you sit? And I said, Washoe.
It's pretty. The trees get in the way, as beautiful as they are. The trees get in the way a little bit. You guys don't have that issue so much, but Ryan and Shelley are just salt of the earth. I love their dad. Yeah. Their dad had lost a leg in a logging accident, and when I had my motocross donations, that man parked cars for 14 straight hours.
Did he really? with a peg leg.
He came out to help you?
Everybody did. It was like the cavalry.
Wow.
I mean, every promoter in America. Sam Gammon from Muddy Creek came with his water truck. I mean, he didn't have a national. He didn't have anything invested in it. And I think I spent a lot more money on it than I should have because I was really trying to make up for the fiasco that we had here at when we were supposed to have the 2001 out at the Indian Reservation that folded the week before.
Yep.
And that was just such a black-eyed American motocross that, I mean, I could have used cheaper tents. I could have used, cut corners. But I thought it was smart to make it the best you could make it. And that was the biggest race I think ever run in this country.
Really? The 09?
The Nations in 07.
07. Yes. Was that when RV beat everybody?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Ryan Villapoto, you're at the top of the list for riding styles. I'm sorry, I forgot about you. But Ryan Villapoto and Travis Pastrana have the fastest corner speed I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Travis was so tall. He has great style, but I don't think Villapoto, you wouldn't look at him and go, that's textbook style. No. That guy would skid and steer with the rear like you would never – if you're instructing somebody how to ride a dirt bike, you don't point to him. But he could get it done, man.
Travis, one time when he was a kid, he said, thank you for my corner speed. When he'd come down to practice, I would take the blade of the bulldozer and just make these beautiful flowing berms, and then just run a track across them so they were packed. And one time he actually said, thank you for the berms.
That doesn't surprise me. That's Travis. Yeah. So take me through the national. What goes
the nationals? It's
I mean, from track prep to getting sponsors to the trophies to there's so much to it.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I was always smart enough and lucky enough to hire good managers. Believe it or not, I like the blue collar part. I'm not allergic to poison ivy or poison oak. I'll run a weed eater from daybreak to dark, and happy as a jaybird on a bulldozer or a tractor.
Yeah.
I'd rather be out in the field than sitting in an office, hey, sponsors do this, do that. But, most of my sponsors I had good handshake deals with where they went year to year. And I've been screwed by one company, and we won't mention who that was because they're one of the major beverage companies in this country. And lawsuits are lawsuits.
Yeah, gotcha.
Handshake deals usually work.
Yeah, not when the corporations get too big. It can get weird.
Yeah.
Is there something about it that people wouldn't expect?
No, it's just all organization. And so what I was smart enough to do, like the big club out of Baltimore, the Baltimore County Trail Riders, they came in and ran the Supercross. I was completely hands off. That was all them. A different crew, another dirt riding club. They came in, they covered all the flaggers. I didn't even have to think about anything else.
Oh, wow.
the best thing was the U.S. Marines. The state troopers would leave their cars on the side of the interstate, on the side of the highway, go guard the Red Bull girls, and the U.S. Marine Corps and myself ran the ingress and egress to get into Budds Creek and to get out of Budds Creek, and we had the parking lot completely emptied in an hour. We ran 4 lanes of traffic out of Budds Creek that all merged back into 1 lane a half a mile south of Budds Creek.
That's a difficult part. I mean,
well, that was my favorite part. I ran the parking lots.
Yeah.
I sat in Glen Helen one time for 3 hours to get back to the interstate, and that's when I said I'm running the parking lots next year.
Yeah, my family got stuck leaving Paula. It's been a few years ago now, maybe 4 years ago, for 4 hours. And I rode a motorcycle, so I buzzed right home.
Yeah.
And they didn't get home for 4 hours.
I believe that.
That'll take a good day and ruin it.
I know.
So. Big, it's some of those things, or having enough.
That's why that was the most important job in the business of mine.
Having enough porta potties, the trash cans. There's all of these little things you just don't.
Nobody ever figures them out.
What about the business side of it? You got to pay is it $100,000 fee? I don't know what you can say or not say. I don't know. But just
it's roughly that, and now it's all run. Originally, we sold our sponsorships individually. Glen Helen, I was always jealous of. Bud Feldkamp, Lori does a great job. They used to bring in serious money on sponsorships. The MPG started, which Dave Coombs was instrumental in that. And that was when all the promoters worked together and we sold the sponsorships as a series. And it worked out good.
That was like Chevy trucks.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And we got to keep our own title sponsor, which, as long as it didn't conflict with theirs. Yeah, we could sell, I think, two sponsorships of our own.
And the value on that, would you cover that fee closely or no?
I think the best ones I've ever had were Yamaha, and they were pretty good to me.
Yeah,
it was like a co-op deal where all the dealers on the East Coast pitched in, so it didn't cost you much.
Yeah, okay.
But by the time all those are added up, that was a lot of dealers.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to peek in your wallet or anything, but I'm curious because there is a lot of expense. You guys go on the hook.
Nobody understands any of that.
Sometimes you're bringing in dirt.
Yeah.
The wear and tear on your equipment alone. The guys from Paris, Scott Cooney's a good friend of mine, and I said, man, why don't you get one of those implements that chops the dirt up real fine? He goes, I have one. He goes, I got to replace the spindles in there, and he goes, it's $6,000-$7,000, and he goes, they'll wear out in a year or two.
Yeah.
So, and then the blades on my dozer. I'm dragging them through,
We're sandy dirt also. And, the one thing Ezra just told me, hey, did you know Ben Townley came over here and raced the National in 94? I said, did you know Ben Townley and I knew each other well before that? And when he came over here, he says to me on Sunday morning, I cannot believe this. I cannot freaking believe this. In Europe, they do not touch the racetracks for decades. We'd had 4 inches of rain that stopped at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have 4 bulldozers. We plow the mud off like you plow snow off the highway.
Yeah.
The racetrack was in as perfect a condition that day as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And that's what blew them away.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Townley's for, and I wish you'd listen to me, Ben. I told you not to race Supercross the first year you were here.
Yeah, that guy, he's another great, what a great human.
What talented but fragile.
I know, and he had great style and technique. Because he was on the TLD team when I managed it in 2010. Damn near won Redbud, podiumed a bunch of 450 Nationals. He was competitive on not a great bike, but you talk about a professional. He just did everything right, man. Just such a good dude. Okay, you derailed me. So it's a $100,000 fee, let's say. You got equipment fees. You've got to pay for all of the porta potties to come in. You're paying flaggers. You're paying staff. What is your outgo at a national? $250,000? If you had to
you probably have close to that. I'll tell you what's nuts is the little 2% Social Security taxes that I have to pay on my employee payroll.
Oh.
I sometimes look at that and go, but the state troopers, you need at least a adequate number in case there's some type of unforeseen, culpable liability.
Oh, people drinking Monster and beer. And,
now we won't even start there. But there should be an age limit on those cans. I'm sorry. I went off on somebody who I saw hand a 4-year-old one.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
That's not great.
Where's your boss?
Where's your boss? I want to see the manager. Okay, so let's say your outlay's $250,000. I'm always curious how a promoter, do you get the parking? Do you get where are you making your obviously sponsorship you sell, but like how do you make the money back?
I don't know, but one time I remember being yelled at because I was the only racetrack that did not charge to park. If you were a blue-collar family and you just paid $40 a ticket to come to my racetrack, first of all, I don't need to stop my ingress to charge you $10 to park. I want to keep people flowing in, and when they're on their way out, thank you, we got your money, have a nice day.
Yeah.
And but yeah.
Yelled at by whom?
Yelled at by whom? No answer.
Okay. Motocross is a great sport. Okay.
It's head injuries.
Yeah. Okay. So is it just ticket sales? That's really the bulk of how you make your money? Because I know you can't sell merch, right?
We can.
Okay. I thought the Moto Tees.
Yeah, Moto Tees has we can't sell an event T-shirt.
Okay. So what can you sell?
I don't know. You know what made me mad? Was I never worried a second about merchandise. I just left all that to John Ayers. You want a T-shirt? Mototees.com.
Yeah.
My son starts selling his own merchandise. He's making enough to pay me for the racetrack from merchandise sales alone.
I know. Well, it's huge. This is something that bothers me about all of our promoters in our major series. And look, by and large, I think they're doing great work. Our sport is looking better and better. But, like, you have these teams struggling, privateers, like you mentioned, struggling to get to the race. A lot of them have merch that they sell. And you say, oh, no, you can't. You can't sell it.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, no, I can't. You have to get into their truck where they're selling it, and then they give you a little percentage of it, right?
I'm sure.
Eli Tomac doesn't need to worry about selling merch and making extra money. He's doing fine, but those guys looking for gas money to get from one to the other.
Yeah, but and nobody. I mean, there's not a big market for their product either.
No, but if they can make $300 in a night, that gets them to the next race.
That's very true.
Or it did on gas prices back then.
If there's any of the promoters out there, you really ought to lower the fee for the people that are putting on the show. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the most they can win, the average one, is exactly what they paid to sign up, and that's if you're lucky enough to qualify.
It's almost like the system is designed for them to not.
Exactly. I mean, in the World Championships, I'm just keeping my mouth shut because I'd love to see another Motocross to Nations in my lifetime, but they stopped paying their riders in 2000 and something. They decided to do this in South Africa on live worldwide television, and my friend Greg Albertine was there. You have 2 minutes once you put your hand up at the starting line. I forget who the first one who put their hand up on the starting line and sat there for 2 minutes and tried to kickstart their bike with their thumb on the kill switch. So, held up at, I think 4 or 5 riders did this in a row when they said they were never getting paid again. And they said the next time the gate's dropping, if you want your points, you better go.
Wow.
So they held up a worldwide television show as a protest.
What year was that? I don't even remember that.
I don't remember either. I'm going to say later. It was after Albie's career, so not 2000.
Okay.
Somewhere around 2000.
Yeah, he won the title in what, 99?
He won 99's American title. And what's crazy, because I did see a whole lot of races in Europe, and to watch him race over there and win every race for 2 years in a row, and then come over here, he had one, and it's the same thing with all the Europeans. I mean, except for the French, excuse me. Pardon my French. You guys know how to ride Supercross. Most of the Grand Prix riders would do very well learning how to ride Supercross at a leisurely pace, not on a race weekend, but on the practice track.
Yeah.
I mean, Albertine came over here. The first moto at Gainesville, he was second. I forget who he was second to, but it was by 2 feet, 4 people battling for the lead for 30 minutes plus 2 laps. Second moto, he does exactly the same thing. The following week in Supercross, he gets hurt. It was like a ditto machine.
Albie's like a wild highlight reel.
Exactly,
in Supercross,
but it was always Supercross.
Yeah.
It wasn't outdoor.
Yeah, I mean, like BT got a 250 title, GL got a couple of them. There's guys that can figure it out, but it's a meat grinder.
But exactly, you don't want to throw them in the deep end of the pool the first year here, is what I think.
Take me through some of your favorite memories since you've owned the track. I mean, there's so many iconic things that I remember. I mean, the Deegan thing is kind of funny to me just because
that was especially showing up. Nobody knew it until it showed up.
Yeah, he didn't he wasn't caught during the day.
I know.
He'd gotten away with it until the picture
3 months later, here it is.
And it was so Deegan back then. He was so anti-establishment.
But he is so cool.
He's great. I know Brian and I didn't get along back then, but I mean, we're fine now, and it's cool to see what Hayden's doing. Doug Henry, obviously.
And
I was there that
had to have been
day.
the most memorable one.
And I always wanted to ask you this. In the video, there's a speaker choir.
Oh, don't even talk about that.
Did he go over it?
Thank God he went over it.
He did go over it.
I put this, so for the speaker system there, I use underground cable, which is meant to be underground, not up in the air. Yeah. So that means it'll last for 2 or 3 centuries. Okay. And I have it run across that, Guy Cooper jumped the furthest off of Henry Hill. I was worried about that cable. Guys out there one time with me just practicing, and I'm up in a front end loader bucket, 20 feet off the ground, watching Guy Cooper miss the cable by 30 feet. It's an optical illusion. So this is something that would have decapitated him. If he did it with the front wheel, it would have driven his head straight into the ground. I was standing over by Scrub This, which is 100 yards away, looking right at Henry Hill. I usually up the night before the race. I was foggy, so I see the thing in the background. Don't even think about it. And when you push to engage the radio, there's a second when you can hear that button and click. And my brain processed what was in the background while that button was clicking. I took off running, and I saw that cable freaking moving, and I was like. I ran over to the fence line, saw he was, not decapitated or dead, and then ran back up and over, in front of Henry Hill to make sure everybody was crawling coming across it, that the flaggers were doing their job.
So he really did go over it.
So, yes, and what happened was that was the first year. If you remember the year before, he was getting those blood transfusions. Yeah. That was the first year they outlawed it. That was his first year on a 250.
He was getting IV therapy.
Yeah, exactly. And then rehydrated.
Yeah.
And then, so they stopped that. It was the first hot race of the year. He had just won the High Point. It was Father's Day of 2005. And he's completely off the racetrack. If you ever see the full video.
Wait, 95.
95, yes. He's out off the jump coming into Henry Valley. He's a foot off the racetrack at the top. There were these 2 square edge bumps, just like a set of stairs. They have not been there before, and they have not been there since. That's the only time I ever saw them. Like somebody took a bobcat bucket and scooped a bucket of dirt out. So it was just like a 8-inch vertical concrete step. 2 of them. Doug hits those. And instead of just letting go of the bike, you'll notice if you watch it again, he is off the back fender of the motorcycle, taking off from the hill, 4th gear. His wrist is wide open because he's pulling himself on the bike. When I saw him a couple days later in the hospital, I was just like, he says to me, Beasley, because when everybody was in box fans, we all spent a week between Steel City just riding and playing.
Yeah.
And he says, you wouldn't believe it. 4th gear on a factory Honda. I'm going to have nightmares for the rest of my life. He comes back to you. Oh, I may be treading on thin ice, but all the pro riders are independent contractors. He gets fired shortly after he gets hurt. 6 months later, when he's in rehab, a new company with a cool logo where it touches the tuning forks. They hire him while he's in rehab. they invent this new 450, and he comes back. He wins the Vegas Supercross. He never did miss the Budds Creek National, by the way. The first time I ever ran the track backwards was in '96, so that Doug did not have to look at that jump.
Oh.
Yes, that was the first backwards national. And we'll never run it backwards again. I've had 3 guys. We used to open every day for practice, and I had 3 guys, even though there's fence right there, arrows right there, everything's right there, they'll whip a U-turn, and they start going off that ski jump backwards, which, you're coming up over in 4th gear. Yeah. And that is the same thing that closed Saddleback down, was they had open practices, and they would switch the direction of the racetrack. And one kid had only been there once, it was clockwise. One kid had only been there once, it was counterclockwise. They found each other in the middle of the air.
Yikes.
And that was the end of Saddleback.
Kill them both?
One and one paralyzed.
Ugh.
But yeah, one of those, 4th gear, you're in the air, you're having a head-on collision. Not good.
No. I never thought about that, because I always thought, what an easy way to totally change up your track, just run it backwards, right?
Let me tell you what was crazy. All the pro riders liked it better going backwards. They said it flowed better, you could pass easier. And
well, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that about that. But I remember I was there that year in 95. I was watching between 125 motos. Or maybe it was over. Was it their second moto?
It was the first moto, and it was 2-lap board was out.
So I was watching, and I just saw, I couldn't really believe what I was seeing from my angle. I was looking straight on at it. And, I just kind of out of the corner of my eye, I just see him way up in the air, and I'm trying to process what I'm seeing. So I just kind of saw the aftermath, really. But I always wondered, because when you watch the video, you see that wire moving, and I'm like, you can't get the depth perception.
He barely clipped it with his back tire.
But he did go over it.
Yes, and it did not impede. He was 75 feet off the ground. I saw him from the side. And no.
I thought maybe it was an optical illusion. He nicked it with his helmet or something. He did go over it.
Thank God he went over it.
It's insane.
Oh, we cut it down 10 minutes later. It was a ladder there. I mean, that was just,
Is it speaker
so
wire?
Huh?
It was speaker wire?
It was underground speaker wire, which would not have moved.
Man. Oh.
It was so that his grandchildren didn't have to mess with it.
Yeah. So then you were talking about Doug. Was it 2 years later?
So Doug comes back the following year, go backwards, comes back 2 years later with the only 4-stroke in the world. It is having some kind of issues where they literally jokingly called him mosquito control when he would come by because it was blowing so much smoke. And Doug told me it was from a engine that they'd already run a heat cycle on. I've always heard it was from somebody didn't differentiate premix from regular, and that would look perfect. So he crashes off the Big Gulp Devil, the biggest jump, second biggest jump besides Red Buds in the sport, and
both wrists
lands. It seizes right on the takeoff, snaps all 4 bones, doesn't crash. Rides off the racetrack, drops the motorcycle, then walks over to some fans. He has them take their helmet off. Next time I go to see my surgeon, there's some HIPAA laws maybe. Am I going to have something to talk about next time I give a lecture? I never in a million years thought somebody would ask me to put mirrors on the ceiling and watch me put plates in all 4 of their bones under local anesthesia. I said, Doc, without breaking any HIPAA laws, I think I know who you might be talking about.
Wow.
Wow is what I said. That no. You're a man, sir.
Yeah, listen, I don't know how Doug Henry gets around because he's got balls the size of bowling balls. But
and he's so cool. I mean, he's the nicest guy ever.
Racing with him in Supermoto, I got to race with him again afterwards and that. And
that's where he hurt himself.
That's where he ended up paralyzed. But, man, you'd never seen somebody go so hard. That guy.
I'm sorry. I did not like that discipline of our sport.
No? Oh, it was fun.
Stupid moto.
Yeah. Well,
no, I didn't like it. I thought it was too made for television, almost the old ABC Wide World of Sports.
Yeah. What was that?
That was cool.
Yeah. Anyway, Superbikers.
Yes.
Yeah. What else? What are some other memories of over the years? So many things.
Over the years.
RVs. performance at the Nations has to be up
Ryan Villapoto's experience forever. I wished Ricky had not fallen in that first turn, because lap per lap, if Ricky hadn't fallen, because Villapoto was on the ground for the exact same amount of time, Villapoto would have beaten Ricky flat out.
You think so?
If Ricky, the lap times prove it. I mean, they're on the internet. Pull it up. And it's pretty impressive. That
was like a career ride.
One of my favorite photographs, and a lady who's not a professional photographer snapped it. It's scrub this, and Jeremy's in last place on that opening lap of the Motocross the Nations, pulling a tear off and just looking up the hill at what he has to attack, and he goes from 40th to 3rd. He couldn't.
Were you talking about Ricky?
This is Ricky Carmichael at the Nations, and Chad Reed held him up, but Ricky could not have caught Villapoto. Period. Wow.
So you think if he starts second behind RV?
Yeah, if he started second, RV would not. I mean, isn't interesting. Back in the 70s, it was until the 80s before the 125s always held the best lap times at Budds Creek, just because you could keep that momentum and the throttle wide open. That was my favorite time of life. My brother hated it because I weighed 220 pounds. Let me ride yours today. I want to ride 3 classes. No.
Was there anything in those early days, any moments that stand out?
No, I had a good,
89,
yes,
90,
I do have a very good moment that stands out, and I'm plugging a dealership on this one. At 14 years old, I've never heard a New England accent in my life. Kid shows up at 7 o'clock Saturday morning thinking it's a 2-day race. He's heard of this new racetrack in Maryland he's got to go see. Well, young man, Mark, it was his name, Mark. Until he signed the release form, I did not know his name was Mark. When he signed the release form, I knew exactly who he was. I said, before FedEx and before the internet, there used to be a half a dozen dealers that ran ads in the back of the motocross magazines. Betancourt's was one of them. He tells me at age 14, save your receipts. You can go anywhere in the world. You own a racetrack. And I was like, really? Tax deduction, huh? Tell me, what's a tax deduction?
So this Betancourt,
Mark Betancourt. It was a pleasure meeting and knowing you all these years. A dealership out of New England who sponsored JoJo Keller. You know JoJo.
Oh yeah, I've been trying to get JoJo on this show for a long time.
Had the pleasure of riding with him one time, and you think you're going good. All right, there's JoJo passing you, and then here comes this 60-year-old man passing both of us.
Who's that?
Dick Betancourt.
Oh, okay.
Had won the first 10 A-class NESC championships, and he was 60 years old and would just go by us. And, I mean, JoJo Keller was fast.
Yeah. Wow.
Like you're sitting still.
Yeah.
Old Dick, and, sir, you never let me pay for anything. Godspeed and thank you.
What about any recent riders? Any fun stories with Carmichael or,
Nah, I tell you, I still think it's been amazing. My biggest story would be James Stewart inventing the scrub. And I hate to take credit for that because I can't stand it. You guys look so much more ballet-like when you're...
Yeah.
So he invented that at Budds Creek. It was 96, I think, the year we went backwards. We were going backwards because he invented it on a braking bump right before Henry Hill.
It wouldn't have been 96, though. He turned pro in 02.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He had a lot of head injuries. So, but his first national was at Budds Creek because he'd had a supercross injury. And so he comes to Budds, and this is the best. The starting line was up behind the barn. 20 people go down. And coming into this 120-degree right-hand first turn, 15 people hit the ground. He gets up, brushes himself off, adjusts his levers, and goes out and passes the entire field. He punted Brock Sellers out of the way to take the lead.
That was one of the most impressive 125 rides ever.
Yes, yes, his dad. Amazing man, the whole family. I love what Malcolm. I was so happy when Malcolm finally won.
Yeah,
I think that's cool to see his name in the book now.
Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story. My first experience at Bud's was riding for Mitch in 95.
Okay.
And first time back there, first time at a lot of the Nationals. And there was a mix-up with fuel. This was when we had press day on Friday, remember? And then Saturday was maybe amateurs.
Yep, that's the way it used to be.
So I go out for press day, and I'm trying to figure out the jumps. And it's right before Henry Hill. There's that double.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of, you came out of the turn, and there was a double down. I don't know if it's the same still. Yeah. Well, I made it all the way around the track to that point with no oil in the gas, apparently, until I got right there. And as I went to seat bounce that double, it locked up.
Oh,
straight over the bars.
I hate when that happens.
Welcome to Bud's Creek.
Did you break anything?
No. I still raced. I don't know how I did. I'd have to go back and look. But I don't feel like I ever did great at your track. I never had great results, but I always loved it. It's just such a fun track to ride. And when I was there, the start was over on the other side where you went uphill and then made that 180.
That was the best. That was the best start ever.
Why did you move it? Just ease of.
AMA told me that it was such a steep uphill start. 3 Nationals in a row, major rain thunderstorms, where it had washed so much sediment down the hill.
Oh.
Now the starting gates, instead of sitting 12 inches off the ground, are sitting 6 inches off the ground. And Roy Jansen says to me, if it happens again, you'll lose your race. And that's when I moved it up top behind the barn. And then when I had the motocross the nations, that was an expensive project. I had to fill in a pond, and the first turn is right on top of an extinct pond. We had 2 ponds at the bottom of the hill, and I had to fill in one. We used to have this orange fence, like construction type fence, like that orange that you'd see at a construction site, backed up with metal cattle fence, so that if a motorcycle hit it.
I think I remember that. Was there a BMX track or something?
Yeah, there was a BMX track in there. And so anyway, that orange fence, after I signed the contract for the Motocross the Nations, oh, by the way, you need $250,000 worth of chain link fence. I was like, okay. So we take up and I had to move the starting line. There were a bunch of things. And I ended up finding out 26 months beforehand that there was not a motorhome between Philadelphia and Charlotte for the entire month of September. Back in the old AMA days before the computers, you'd have to run a credit card through a sign-up slip through a credit card type machine. And biggest liability was you not having an AMA card, so I'd sit out in front and check AMA cards no matter how tired I was. Make sure, hey, have all this filled by the time you get up front. And 2 ladies getting coffee, and one of them says to the other one, there's not a motorhome from Philly to Charlotte. And we started building parking lots that day and had the Motocross the Nations.
Wow.
And it was packed.
Of all of the events you've ever done out there, is there one that's like, that was the best day?
Oh, Jesus. If
07?
I could have Motocross the Nations, that would be Groundhog Day every day.
Yeah. I went to my first one at Ironman this year.
That was cool. That was a good race.
Were you there?
Yeah.
It's one thing to watch it on TV or watch the highlights. Yeah. When you're actually at one of those events and you're following kind of the build-up of how each of the guys do in their first motos and where the points are at, and man, it was really
let me
engaging.
Tell you, it is the European ones. If anybody wants a vacation of a lifetime, next year the race is 3 hours outside of Paris, 45 minutes from where D-Day took place. If you want to plan your vacation, start saving now.
Which track is it next year?
Oh, if I've ever been jealous, and I'll tell you a great Mitch Payton story. I'll think of the name of the track. I've been there a dozen times.
St. D'Angeli?
No, we're not. We're at Ernay.
Ernay, okay.
Ernay. And so anyway, Ernay has the biggest tower building I've ever seen. And I have like one of those super gold passes because people think I'm important. And Mitch Payton, the top floor of the building, Mitch Payton's in his wheelchair, and there's a 4-foot wall that's a foot thick that Mitch can't see over. He can see the way far into the racetrack. I'd just come out of a cocktail bar. This is a 4-story tall tower building. I'm jealous. I run down 2 stores bar, run up with 2 cocktail table on each shoulder, put them down, get bones, and we lift Mitch up, and Mitch's front wheels are sitting, where if he'd fallen forward, he was dead. But he did get to see Mikel Schoen crash right in front of us. He would have never seen that. That was the day his career ended.
Oh.
And, yes, so anyway, Mitch is sitting up in the air. Bones is holding one side of him. I'm holding the other. And we just had him hanging out.
Oh, that's
where
funny.
you could see it all.
Mitch is great. He's another.
He is such. He's got an aura.
Yeah, he does. He really does. I would say in our sport, there is no other single person who's done more for the sport and riders in it than Mitch Payton.
I believe that totally.
I put him up against Roger. Anybody. Mitch has got a heart of gold. He's a little ornery at times, but he's got a heart of gold. Okay, so what about not just your track? Is there any moments in the sport in general over the years that for you were just like iconic that you'll never forget?
Moments in the sport,
like, just something epic, something with Travis. I mean, you had to have had interactions with Travis.
A lot of those. I will tell you, one of the most incredible things I've heard was Jeremy. This is Jeff Emig, and this is after 9/11, and there's a thing at Budds Creek, and Jeff Emig flies in on his own dime to be with these family members who have lost, their
you told
brother.
me that. Yeah, I don't remember that. But that's crazy.
Yeah,
you had a ride day for all the firemen and first responders.
And Emig comes in and on his own dime. I didn't even know he was coming.
Wow. Good for you, Jeffro. That's cool.
Yeah. Jeff Emig, I admire you. You're a man amongst men. I wish I could have grown up to be like you.
Yeah, me too.
It's that coordination thing.
I want to be able to look that good in a leisure suit and an afro wig. What about the worst mud race you've ever had out there?
You know what? We are so lucky because of the elevation change. They actually red flagged one, and I think it was because of a national championship could have been decided after 20 minutes, but there was no change in the racetrack. And we've had some pretty good mud ones. Believe it or not, my biggest, holy mackerel, I need to get out from underneath here. I think it might have been the same day, but I'm over towing cars out of the riders who have to get to an air flight, and there's a Mercedes-Benz parked right in the low part of the field. And I know I need to get this thing hooked up because the water is coming closer to the important stuff. And I just dig myself a little burrow and I go underneath the front end of this $500,000 car trying to find something I can hook onto without ripping it apart. And I got underneath there and was sort of stuck for a second or two. I was like, that felt good. And got him out of there before that mess happened. But yeah, there have been some... There was one mud race where I remember telling the Marines the night before I went to sleep, take them across the top of this hill where there's a gravel road. I said, turn them downhill. Wherever they stop sliding, that's their parking spot.
Is that, it sounds like the track work is like kind of whatever, but it's the parking lot that turns into the nightmare for you guys, huh? Getting motorhomes and trailers out.
Nah, you know what? It makes me so mad now because they take one. I told you we took 4 lanes of traffic out of Budds Creek. 1 hour, it was over and you were gone. And now they take 1 lane of traffic out.
Yeah.
Which I just, that's when you sit back. I paid to park at the neighbors across the street, which was really cool because my little brother I mentioned earlier, I had not seen him for 5 years. He moved to Maine, and we left directly from my national where I paid my childhood friend. She didn't charge me, but I parked across the street so I could get the hell out of there as soon as the race was over. And we drove overnight up to Maine and had a good time. I hadn't seen him 5 years, so that was good.
That's awesome. Well, listen, why don't we take a quick timeout?
All right.
This is your Troily Designs timeout, guys. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Jonathan Beasley. In the motocross graphics game, customization is key. TBD MX can bring any of your design concepts to life. Simply fill out a design request and they will email you a concept for approval. TBD MX also has a showroom full of designs to choose from on their site. Whether you just want number plate backgrounds or a fully custom kit, the TBD MX crew has you covered. Visit tbdmx.com today and get the look you want.
There is a reason every AMA championship in the past decade was won on Dunlop tires. They are the best. Choose the best performing tire and a brand that has never wavered in their support of our sport. Choose Dunlop. Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit products are designed with one goal in mind: winning. Through passion and hard work, Pro Circuit has operated the most successful 250 team in the history of the sport. They use that same formula when developing exhaust, engine, and suspension parts for every brand. When only the highest level of performance is acceptable, trust Pro Circuit.
At Seat Concepts, our handcrafted seats are made in America. Visit us online or call today. Seat Concepts. Ride the world with us.
Something from nothing. That's what Nihilo Concepts is about. It starts with a spark, an idea, a concept, which leads to a design, and finishes with engineered excellence with the highest quality products created with durability in mind. All our products are made in the USA at our state-of-the-art facility in Stuart, Florida. Whether you are a weekend warrior, ride for fun, or at the highest level of competition, Nihilo Concepts offers innovative titanium, aluminum, and carbon fiber parts for your dirt bike. We offer a wide variety of products that you can customize to your liking. Browse our site for foot pegs, brake tips, engine components, specialty tools, frame grip tape, lever grips, carbon fiber components, motor stands, our secondary on-switch, plus much more. Head to NihiloConcepts.com and see for yourself why factory teams like Red Bull KTM, Rockstar Husqvarna, Troy Lee Designs Gas, Orange Brigade, Club MX, KLM Gas, and some of the fastest riders in the world choose Nihilo Concepts.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. You're kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
Arc levers are the most durable and reliable on the market. They have the most premier class championships of any aftermarket lever. Arc is the only ratio adjustable folding lever on the planet, and their patented design is precision machined in-house right here in the USA. The occasional tip over on the bike is inevitable. Broken levers? Those are optional. Visit arclevers.com today. Toyota has become synonymous with reliability, and for good reason. Toyota vehicles are consistently rated #1 by Consumer Reports and in customer satisfaction. Partner that with a dealership that wholeheartedly supports the motocross community, and it's crystal clear where you should buy your next car or truck, Toyota of Redlands. As a major partner of the BarX Yamaha racing team, as well as personal sponsor of many factory racers and a premier partner of the Whiskey Throttle Show, Toyota of Redlands is heavily invested in moto. Check out all the new and used Tundras, Tacomas, and other vehicles at Toyota of Redlands today. Reliability, performance, and customer service. Get it all at Toyota of Redlands. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Pro-X. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, if it wears out, Pro-X makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better.
The Specialized Science Club introduces the Levo 4. An electric mountain bike so advanced, it borders on sorcery. Together, you and the Levo 4 become a harmonious hybrid of organic and synthetic. It's a rider-enhancing machine that transforms you into a cycling cyborg. 720 watts of power and 111 Newton meters of torque, amplifying your mortal muscles, allowing you to bend space and time to your will. All channeled through futuristic suspension, with honed geometry, granting super control while traversing extreme terrain at hyper speed. With supernatural power delivery, you'll have super traction to conquer climbs where others spin out. And you'll tire, if at all, before the bike does. Thanks to the Levo 4's super range.
Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts for kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody. You name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. Welcome back. That was your Troy Lee Designs timeout. You guys, if you haven't seen all of the things Troy's got cooking over there, get to TroyLeeDesigns.com. Helmets, the SE5, carbon, polyacrylite. They got all kinds of, models and versions and paint schemes. They're awesome. Best helmet in the business. I'm convinced of it. All of their gear is out. Spring stuff is close. So go check them out. And if you're into mountain biking or cycling, full line of that. They've actually got some really cool adventure stuff, off-road stuff. Troy Lee's just crushing it over there, so check them out. Getting back into it here, I want to know who's the kind of local guys for you. I know we talked earlier off camera about Kevin Krein. He raced in my era, and so I wouldn't say we were close friends, but I obviously knew him, and we interacted quite a bit. Really nice guy, and he died in a car accident.
He did.
Gosh, I guess it's been 20 years now, probably?
Probably close.
Yeah.
It's been a while. He was such a good kid. And been fortunate. I mean, we've had some great riders from our area come out. Tommy Welch and now his son, Tommy. And but the trivia question where I win all my money. Besides Travis Pastrana, what other Maryland rider has the best finish at any AMA professional race?
Oh, trivia. I love trivia. Let me think about this. It's not Krein?
No. Mike Twigg, who owned Twigg Cycle up in Hagerstown. I think he just sold it. Maybe he still owns it. But Twigg Cycle in Hagerstown. He was a pro rider, 1984, on a Mako. Those were good bikes. In the mud at Redbud.
How do you do?
Fourth overall.
Fourth?
Yes.
Wow.
In the 250 National.
I've never heard of him, so I wouldn't have guessed that.
Rod Bell does Supercross. He's in fourth place.
Rod Bell got a fourth place?
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. Sorry there. Justin, don't hold that one against me.
That's pretty good. I've not heard either of those guys. So this is our Seat Concepts hot seat question. Guys, Seat Concepts makes the best covers and custom seats if you're into it. Need something like that, especially their comfort seat for dual sport and adventure. Check out our guys at Seat Concepts. Tell me some stories. I know you've got to have a million freaking stories of people you've interacted with, riders and personalities in the sport over the years. You got to have some. You mentioned one about Pomeroy.
Oh, this is a good story. I'm in the Spanish Grand Prix, and the only two words that I've understood the entire day are Jim Pomeroy. Jim Pomeroy. they'd flown him over there, I think, for the 50th anniversary of his winning that first Grand Prix in 1973 on a Bull Taco. And I go to get on the airplane the next day, and I see Jim Pomeroy 3 seats behind me. He weighs 300 pounds now, but I still know it's Jim Pomeroy. I finally get the gentleman to switch seats with me. And I sat next to Jim for 9 hours. Davey Coombs is one of the most, he went to Martha Stewart School, or anyway, he has very good manners. And I call him from JFK Airport, and I said, hey, Davey, I just spent 9 hours on a plane with Jim Pomeroy, and I was taking notes. Can I write an article about him? And he literally doesn't put me on mute or anything. He screams in my ears. They ring all the time anyway. You guys aren't going to believe this. The same week, Motovert, which is the biggest French motocross magazine, had just sent them hundreds of Jim Pomeroy pictures that he had no idea what he was going to do with them. Jim Pomeroy had been lost to history, and I wrote a 10-page article about him. He got reintroduced to history and invited to every vintage race after that. Passed away a few years later in a Jeep accident.
Yeah. He was. I want to say, maybe I'm getting this wrong. Wasn't he the first American to win a GP?
He was. That's why that's why he was in Spain.
Yeah.
He was the first American to win. It was in 1973, and that was such a cool article. I wish I could remember what issue it was in. It was in Racer X, so it might be online. But he goes over there, and he was just going over there to practice and train in Belgium. He had a very good dealer out of up in Washington State, where he was from, who helped facilitate this. So he goes over to Belgium.
Bull Tacos, he was riding?
This was all Bull Tacos. Yeah. And he goes over and he's training in Belgium, where the best riders in the world train. And he goes out there at this local Belgium race and kicks everybody's butt. So the Team Bull Taco just said, stay with us. There's a Grand Prix in 2 weeks. Wow. And he won the first Grand Prix. He told me about it. He said it was so amazing. He said it was just like riding in Southern California. It was so hard packed. Everybody else is using these little gravelly berms, and I'm just on the outside with the throttle wide open, a gear higher, flat tracking. And he says, I won the first moto. I come in, and he said, to my horror, because you had to go to a press thing after each moto, he says, to my horror, I come out, and they're changing the clutch. And he said the clutch slipped so bad in the second moto, I was last coming into the first turn. And do
you think they did it on purpose, or does he?
No, not at all. They just, I don't know what happened. So anyway, he ends up finishing fourth, and they had just changed it. He did not get his first place trophy from that race. They gave it to a German, Hans Meisch, whose father actually owned Magoo, and Hans did not give it back to him till 30 years, maybe later.
But he did get it. Someone was telling me the story of getting him the trophy. Yeah, that's so neat. What a cool run-in. I'll show you this. This was at the Motocross of Nations this year, and I'll cool. Put this picture in the show if you guys are watching on YouTube, or Spotify. I'm sitting down there waiting for one of the motos, and this guy's smoking a cigarette. He's kind of pissing me off because the smoke's blowing in my face. I get really irritated with that. But he sees that I'm like kind of waving it away, and he goes, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Here, I'll move over here," and we start chatting. Nicest dude you've ever met.
He looks familiar.
So we're talking about the racing, and he says, "Oh yeah, I'm so and so," and oh, nice to meet you. Are you here just watching? He goes, "Yes." He's got a thick accent. He goes, "Yeah, I'm. My name is." He tells me I can't remember his name. Anyway, long story short, I find out this is Pierre Karsmaker's brother.
Really? That's pretty cool.
So I'm like, wow, cool, man. That's great. And we're talking about he was actually in the designations for Dutch, right? He was in the designations multiple years with his brother. Mm-hmm. Competed, he was a great rider himself. Anyway, it's just funny who you bump into, those kind of stories like that. You sitting on a plane next to Jim, and that's pretty neat.
I'll tell you a good one.
You had a Magoo story.
That's what I was going to tell you.
I want to hear the Magoo story.
So the guys from Hangtown. This is Motocross to Nations, and it's
What year?
2007. My Motocross to Nations.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, that used to be a two separate weekend event. There were 250s. It was the Motocross to Nations, or a Trophy to Nations was the 250. The Motocross to Nations was the 500 class. You'd race one track, one country, one weekend, a different track, a different country the next weekend. Magoo Chandler is the only person who ever won all four of those motos. I mean, like, convincingly.
82.
This was
81?
82, I think.
Okay.
No, actually, let me see. Yes, that would have been 82. And Roger told me a funny story. He says he came in, says, I'm not going as fast as I was yesterday. I'm not hitting the tree branches. Roger says, hey, they're looking out for you today. No tree branches.
Jeez.
So I asked everybody to help me find Magoo. The guys from Hangtown find him. He's Godspeed to you, my friend. He's homeless, living in his van. His van runs, but his wheelchair ramp doesn't work. There's no up and down. There's no getting out unless your friends came or you came to them. It was Brad Lackey. He was the main driving factor, but there were a whole bunch of people. We did an auction for him at Budds Creek where I went through and got everybody to sign their gear. That raised $12,000. I mean, everybody else, Travis threw him $5,000. Anybody who was anybody threw him $5,000. Oh, and by the way, he got to come to my donations. Oh, Tony, this is a great story. Tony DeStefano and Gary Bailey, I never charged them a penny. Those were my heroes. And I called Tony up and I said, Tony, your 20-year rent bill's come due. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, you got wheelchair accessible stuff. Here's Magoo's flight. Pick him up, keep him out of jail for 4 days, take him to D.C. for 2 days, and bring him to Budds Creek for 2 days. And then a pilot actually got him to England the following year, so he got to see 2 donations.
Wow.
And if you haven't seen a copy of his DVD that he did, it's worth buying. But so Magoo, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I get a call that they're about to take somebody to jail. And he'd run over a state trooper's foot. He was going into the Red Bull party whether they liked it or not.
In his wheelchair?
In his wheelchair.
Oh, my gosh.
I invaded it with the U.S. Marines and walked in with 30 Marines and said he's not going anywhere.
That's awesome. He was, I'm just so sad I didn't get to know him better and watch him race because he just seemed like so fun.
You know what? I watched him race a lot. To heck with who's winning the race. You were watching Magoo after he fell back there in 30th place, just hanging on.
Feet off the pegs. Yeah. He looked like a one-man party on the track.
It was. He was nuts. I remember so many good memories about how far he would come through the pack.
Really?
I mean, he'd go down in the first turn and win a moto.
Well, I mean, the Trophy and Motocross the Nation story, It's like, that shows you right there when he was just in the right place mentally, untouchable. And I've had guys, legendary guys say, oh, yeah, he was.
I do want to give a Paul Harvey to the end of the Magoo story. The day his Sprinter van got to the conversion center is the day that he passed away.
Is that right?
Godspeed, my friend. The day he passed away was the day it was all ready to be put together.
What a bummer.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what, though? At least it does give you some hope in the people in our sport and humanity that they came together, because there was a lot of money that was raised.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time there were several campaigns going on to raise money for him, and I'm glad to see the sport step up when a guy needs it like that.
Yeah. So that was cool. And that's a good list of people who forked over $5,000. And Brad Lackey was the leader.
Was he? Yeah. Brad's a solid guy.
Yeah.
Any other good stories just over the years that stand out to you?
You know what? It's been a wild ride. I love it. The Motocross to Nations was definitely the highlight.
Yeah.
They made the best movie. It's called 60 Years in a Day. And it's the best motocross movie ever made.
I don't think I've seen it.
Troy Adamitis made it.
60 years in a day.
He is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, it's a world-class movie.
I'll have to look it up. Okay, so tell me what your thoughts are on where the sport currently is. You've seen it from a very humble beginnings, to what we are today, and where do you think it's headed, for better or worse?
You know what? I was surprised that with pro racing. My whole thought with that when they started a for-profit corporation was that, it would be on the corporate stock exchange by now. So, we have an amazing sport. The best definition I've ever heard, Dave Coombs Sr. said this at a promoters meeting, and all the Supercross promoters, when there was more than one, were there. And he says, you go to a Supercross race or you go to a circus, you see somebody shot out of a cannon. You don't run out and buy a cannon. You go to an outdoor motocross race, you see somebody shot out of a cannon, you want your own cannon. And, I mean, that is so true. The grassroots of our sport, I mean, there is such a brotherhood and a fraternity there that you guys you have to be part of it. You don't have to be part of it, but it's almost like Jeff Emick said it perfectly when he rode for the Motocross to Nations. He said, I never had a chance to join the Army or fight for our country. But I'm telling you, when Budds Creek's National came to town, Jonathan Beasley quit at 12 o'clock and worked with the Marines and the soldiers from Walter Reed. I want to thank everybody that ever put on a uniform in this country, and especially their families that have to sit at home with the consequences.
Yeah, amen to that. It's definitely a special breed of person that signs up for that willingly, does it. So we always support those guys, and sometimes it can be even more heartbreaking when some of those wars that they went to were for nothing. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I do.
That's the sad part.
I read a history book a week, and I read the Quran. I just had to see what it was all about. I'm reading L. Ron Hubbard next.
Yeah, I don't suppose you came away too impressed with the Quran. A lot of nastiness in there. So where do you think we're headed? I mean, I like my opinion, if you're just a spectator at a race or you're a rider, kind of no matter where you are in the spectrum, we've made a lot of improvements from the mid-'90s. The spectacle of it is way better. Tracks are prepped better. We've put a lot of good things in place. The Alpine Stars medical unit was a huge step forward. I mean, I don't think they get nearly enough credit for what they do, the importance of what they do.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of room for improvement. And I just, as a guy who's been so involved in running a track and a national track, that's what I want to get your opinion on. What's that you can talk about?
I think the future of our sport's very bright. I mean, there's no other sport in the world where you can get up. I mean, NASCAR, you can get close, but you can smell the oil. You can meet the riders. You can look at the bikes. You can go to your dealership and buy that bike. I mean, it's being part of something so insane. I mean, the risk, everything. I wished I'd been a better rider. I mean, that's the one thing. I wished I'd had coordination and balance.
That's all you're lacking?
That's all I'm lacking.
One thing I do miss is the accessibility. That was something that was so neat for me as a kid to go into a Supercross race. I didn't have pit passes or any access, but you could get in afterwards. You just kind of walked in. And I have a cast I'll show you over here on this counter from when I was like 9 years old, broke my wrist. And I went into the pits, and there's Wardy and Ron Lachine and Tyson Voland, who were Factory Cowie guys at the time. And I'm like, Dad, that's Jeff Ward. Go talk to him. And I mean, I walked right up, and I'm talking to those guys. They all signed my cast. That just doesn't happen anymore. The guys are too secluded in the rigs and in their motorhomes, and they're signing autographs from 1 to 2 and then they're gone. It's like, that's a bummer to me.
I'll tell you a great story. I took Ezra, I don't remember, 07 or whenever Ricky's last Supercross race was. We were there, and it was in Orlando. And we go, it was afternoon practice, and we go climb to the top of the bleachers, and I take him, and I sit him down next to this stranger. And after 20 minutes of having a conversation with him, I said, Ezra, do you know who that is? Dad, that's Stephen Everts. I know who that is. And he said it perfectly. What kind of idiot would get invited to a world champion's house to spend the night and say no?
Yep. Well,
that was Heinz Kingartner, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about track prep? This is the other thing I wanted to ask you about. I kind of mentioned to you in my days, I don't want to poo-poo any track here, but like I'm going to use these guys as an example. Sacramento used to be hard as a rock. And by the time practice and qualifying races were over, it was hard pack and kind of dry, dust, if you can believe that, at a national. And they would just flood it before the 125 race. And it was an ice skating rink for the first 15 minutes. And I struggled a lot with that because I wasn't good in the mud. We've kind of, but I will say it had a character. Right? That was hard pack. If you were good on hard pack, you did well there. Southwick was our best sand track we had, and Gatorback was kind of a mix of both. And, you had a lot of personality with each track. And I feel like the prep has gone to, it's better, definitely better, but like they're all kind of the same. Hey, bring in some soil or this or that and rip it super deep and get the water deep down in. And it's like sometimes now they're so rutted and muddy in practice, the tracks turn into just a slot car track.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of passing lines. And we've seen some of the best races when they under prep it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. At the Motocross to Nations every year, they do not touch the track between Saturday and Sunday. The berms, I mean.
GPs, they still don't.
Yeah. Oh, they don't touch them for decades. I love some of those tracks. It's nice. They don't go to very many of the old GP tracks. And the one at Namur in Belgium, it's on the grounds of this castle from like 800 AD.
Yeah, the Citadel.
It had been under siege 33 times, and the only army that ever took it had swastikas and air power. And they had the motocross race there. It was amazing. I took Ezra and walked him around, but I probably was lucky enough to go to, and fortunate enough, it was so packed inside.
Did you see a GP there?
Oh, lots.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I went to
that was the vacation plan.
I went to a supermoto in Matei, Belgium.
Yeah.
The sport you hate. But you go right by that.
Did you go in and see the track?
We just walked around it a little bit.
So did you have somebody take you where they knew where you were?
No, but I had seen enough. I kind of knew, this is where
exactly.
Carla stopped and drank a beer.
Going through the bridge. Oh, my God. It was amazing. And then they moved.
You could die 100 different ways there.
They moved it. Oh, there was a lot of shit there.
Sketchy.
Sketchy is a good word. We'll leave it at sketchy. But, they moved it to a track that I hate.
Which?
Oh, Jesus. I don't even want to think of the name of it. Ezra, what's?
Lommel. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love the man who used to be the president of the Lommel, Johnny Strybos, Godspeed. But, I'm not crazy about. I'm sorry. I like elevation in my motocross.
Yeah,
something makes it look much cooler.
Yeah. Well, that sand is. You don't need hills when you got sand like that.
Oh yeah, that's it. It's
enough of a challenge.
It's like racing on the beach.
Yeah. So the prep. I mean, do you think we need to find a middle ground there on that?
No, I used to always hire Mark Barnett. Nobody preps better.
Yeah. He kind of disappeared on everybody.
He got married.
Oh, is that what happened?
Congratulations, Mark. If you ever hear this, somebody please tell him I said hi.
I've tried to get him on this show for years and years, really? And he got a new cell phone number, and when I called him, he's like, "How'd you get this number?" And I didn't want to say because I got it from a friend in the industry, but he's like, "Don't tell him I gave you the number because it's a new number." And I said, "Oh, I got it from a directory at Racer X or something." I made up something. He called Davey. Hey, how'd you get this number? He tracked it down, and he was pissed that someone gave his number out. Oh man, trying to get you
I'll
to
tell
come on
you,
the show.
Mark Barnett was cool as heck. I used to help David Clayball for the first half dozen years. Colorado had a national. I came in every year and ran his parking also. But, yeah, it was cool hanging out with Barnett.
Yeah.
The one thing I remember, Barnett turned me on for the first time to Chipotle's.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, thank you, Mark.
He's such a kind of a quiet, like he doesn't talk
is.
about himself. He's very
He is.
selfless, and
You wouldn't have thought he'd ever won a race.
no, but he was a beast.
Oh, I
and
know.
I would just love to hear his stories. But there's some guys that don't want to talk. Dogger's the same way. Can't
Really?
get Dogger on here. Johnny O, he won't even return my text when I ask about it.
I love Johnny.
So, oh well, what are you gonna do? Okay, so is there a happy medium on prep? I'm gonna kind of beat you up on this. Like,
I think they over prep them now, and a lot of it has to do with television. I mean, like you said earlier, nobody wants to see dust. When the sport gets to this level, they expect to see, a professional track, but you don't want it. And it's so easy to fix all those, what you're talking about, the just little chicken-tailed ruts, that aren't straight. And once they start to harden, they turn into concrete. And I agree 100% that those things should be taken out. But, the only things that should be fixed are the faces of the jumps, if there's something wrong with that. And I think as little track prep during the day, the second motor should be a heck of a lot harder. One time, this is 25 years ago with Jeff Smith, and he's talking about taking Southwick off the vintage national schedule.
okay,
I said, sir, the first time I went there, there were 40-man starting gates, and they always dropped going forward so you could sort of jump the start. That was the first backwards starting gate I ever saw, was the first time I went there. The second time I went there was the first blacktop start I'd ever seen. That was a year later. Then a year later was the current 40-man gate that we have now. I said, that's the only thing that's changed since 1975, period.
yeah. I guess they pulled the frog pond out. That would be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was cool as heck
Yeah.
down in that section. But, yeah. Oh, the first time I ever went to race there, my brother and I had never seen sand. It was 1,200 riders.
For the national?
This is a local NESC race. We get there, an AMA card was $8. $69, please, for your NESC card. It was a part of the country that was non-AMA. That's why all these guys show up in the standings at Southwick that you've never heard of, because that's where they only play. So big payouts, $69. But after I sat there and read I had to borrow money to pay for this damn license to even race. But it was like they didn't have a one-day license, but it was Aflac insurance. If you got hurt racing that day, they covered your insurance bills until you were back to work. So that was one of the best rider programs I've ever seen.
Huh. Well, tell us a little bit about your family. So is Ezra your only child?
No, I have a daughter who's 25,
Okay.
and she's a senior in college. Dad took the 6-year plan she's following. But everything, Ezra's an amazing kid. I'm so proud of what he's done with the racetrack. But I'm currently engaged.
Oh, yeah? Look at you.
I got married on top of Henry Hill. Roger DeCoster was my best man, to someone who thought she could put my mother in a nursing home and get away with it. Everybody needs to be dumped once. So, currently engaged to my college girlfriend. I'd given up on women, and she found me on Facebook.
Good for you.
And it's pretty cool. We're getting married in May. She doesn't like the fact that we're going to see motocross races for our Grand Prix for our honeymoon. Honey, we're just going to Italy 2 months early for our honeymoon.
Yeah.
Oh, they have back-to-back.
Tell her to take her out and drink some wine and do the things.
Yeah, that's cool. She'd like that. She's a good girl.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's nice reconnecting with somebody who you had such a good, and back out of college, she wanted the family, and I was a bartender. And there was no way.
Yeah.
I didn't want a family. I needed some growing space.
Yeah. What do you guys do for fun, just as a family out there when you're not at the track?
As a family, my son, he's an excellent cook. I love to hang out. My first wife and I get along, And it's funny because she's like best friends with my fiance.
Is that right?
They've just hit it off. Ezra's mom. And Ezra's mom and I never really had a bad day in our lives together, but it just had to. I'm sorry. I had the Peter Pan syndrome. That's all there is to it.
It happens. Well, that's cool. So what do you guys do for fun? Are you into like, you don't hunt and fish. So what do you guys do?
No, I don't hunt and fish. I believe it or not, I just finished writing my first history book, and it is an addiction. I'm getting ready to start my second one. I have a big Civil War collection that I loan out to libraries around the state of Maryland, and I'm tired of seeing the way they're changing history.
Well, I got some things I want to ask you off camera, but I know you're a history buff, and I've got some things I want to talk to you about, but not for this show.
If anybody, I'm plugging my book. It's called Tory Congressman. A Tory was fought for the British Army, but was an American officer during the Revolutionary War. They hung hundreds of them. I found one from my hometown who made it to the Congress of the United States, and I found something to write about.
Wow.
Yes.
When is that coming out?
I'm down to almost being finished now. I wanted to have it out in time for Christmas, but I don't want to make any mistakes.
Yeah.
And I've got a few more to check.
Okay.
But yeah,
I need to get one.
I'll send you one when it gets out.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, we're going to bring Ezra on because I want to kind of talk about the future of it. But hold on. I do have one question that I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
And that's, we ask all our guests this, is how you want to be remembered in the sport.
How do I want to be remembered in the sport? As a kid who never gave up. I mean, just from my mom, I loved her, Godspeed, but she was tough. She did not know how to deal with people, would chase people physically away from our racetrack. I mean, how many racetracks have people arrested? She had decided she wanted to charge $1 camping charge with no notice, and the guy didn't want to pay, and he left in handcuffs. I mean, this is in the 70s when I was still a kid, but I learned, my brother and I got to see a lot of other racetracks and, brought things back and learned and just improved over the years. I think the smartest thing was in 99 that the FIM, the World Organization, stated there were no double jumps allowed. So we went and filled in every double jump, turned them into camelbacks or tabletops, and our injuries. And the smartest thing we've done, and for all the other racetracks, on a race day morning when we started practice, every class, the yellow flags, they wave the ambulance flags on the first lap so that nobody can jump anything, because most of the accidents have happened on the first lap of practice.
Yeah, it's smart. I mean, some of those simple things in the pits, it seems like pit bikes, first lap stuff, that's like the bulk of it.
Exactly. I mean, and it's sad that, insurance, I see a lot on the internet where promoters all over the country are getting beaten up for prices. I mean, I saw something in Massachusetts where the track out on the Cape that we went to once closed a week early because they didn't have enough riders, and everybody jumps on them like nobody's business. Be grateful that you have some place to ride. Be nice to the people who are in the racetrack, because I remember I used to love motocross action, and I remember one time Jody writing an article about the promoter going to the back of his Porsche and pulling out his $5 trophy to hand to me. So please give your riders ample awards for their effort. Say thank you, and I hope our sport lives a long life.
Well, I thank you for your contributions to our sport, because you've always put a 100% into making that track the best you can make it, whether you made money or lost money, and you've lost money at times. But you can see your passion for it. And I totally get what you're saying. If anyone's willing to run a track, it's a difficult operation. You're not just getting rich because you have a track to run. You got to pour some blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it's a struggle. Yeah. So I appreciate what you're saying. Like, appreciate that you have a track to ride, because it can be gone like that. And then the track you're bitching about, you don't have to bitch about it anymore because it isn't there. So anyway, thank you for everything you've done. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure seeing you, Ping.
Absolutely.
I love what our sport's done, and I hope wish everybody the best of luck.
All right, let's bring on Ezra Beasley. Okay, so we brought in Ezra Beasley now. This is the current owner of Budds Creek Motocross Facility. Welcome on.
Thanks for having me, Ping.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
Just when I kind of like feel like maybe I'm kind of normal height, slightly smaller, you walk in and I feel like a midget again. Like I should be getting thrown onto a dartboard or something, like midget wrestling.
I drink a lot of milk.
I guess you drank a lot of milk.
You should see me on my bike. It makes it look like a pit bike.
I'm sure. So, man, congrats on taking over the facility.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you. No, it is awesome to follow my dad's footsteps. Such a legend. And I get to play in dirt bikes all day. I love events and dirt bikes and people, and I get to combine all three of those and to do some pretty cool stuff every day. So
yeah, I would say you have big shoes to fill, but you probably got a size 14.
Yeah,
So-
I guess that's kind of how I got the track from my dad. Is we'd fight every single day, and I got tired of kicking his ass. It was starting to hurt our relationship a little bit. And so one day I was kind of, I don't know if I can say bad words on here, but I was like, "F you, Dad.
Yeah.
I want to buy the track." And he's like, "You're a dick. I'm tired of fighting with you. I'll sell it to you." So that's how we got here.
That's
Here we
awesome.
are right now.
I love it. So what are some things that, from your perspective, you want to do a little differently than he did?
He was awesome, but he was also very hard-headed when it came to working with like some of our other local organizations. So I've really rekindled. He was really good with some of them, but then other ones he kind of butted heads with. Organizations will bring a big crowd to our facility, so I kind of rekindled those relationships, and I'm branching out here. So he'd rent out our stock car area to the stock car promoter year round, and then he'd do maybe one or two supercrosses in there, but I've kind of taken that space back over and I've reversed it. So I rent it out now by the weekend to the stock car promoter, and I do more supercross races, put on the demolition derby. I'm working on a really cool event next year with American Flat Track, bringing American Flat Track out.
Okay, cool.
So just all sorts of new events at Budds Creek.
I got a concept for you. Throw everybody off. Be the only stock car track running clockwise.
Yeah, I'll have to throw out one of my promoter. He does a good job.
Those car guys wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah,
They've never turned right in their life.
I got my hands full with mostly dirt bike and ATV racing. So,
I got you.
but yeah, we got a really cool thing planned with when American Flat Track comes to town. It's called the Throttle Festival. It's going to be 7 different disciplines of motorcycle racing.
Oh, wow.
And so we're also gamifying our entire event. Oh yeah, go ahead. You had a question?
Well, what are the 7 events?
So just the motorcycle racing aspect is motocross, amateur flat track, hare scrambles, enduro cross, pit bike racing, barrel racing like horses, but on your motorcycle, just open class, run it. And then the same thing, but the opposite, slow bike racing.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, and then so we're having
When is that?
it's going to be May 14th through the 17th, and on top of that, we just have all sorts of other activities for the motorcycle crowd, from organized street bike rides to the bar to bull riding, Barbie car racing, pizza eating contest, mechanical bull, demo rides, food trucks, and so it's going to be a heck of a time. But for me, my favorite aspect of it is if you were to come to my event, Ping, you could get an app on your phone, and you could score points not only in the 7 different types of racing, but by doing the Barbie car race, the organized street bike ride.
Dude, I got to come to this
contest. And so we're working on a pretty sweet freaking prize pack. The only one that I don't have signed contracts for some of this stuff yet, so I don't want to go out here and say this guy's giving me this and this guy's giving me that, but something we're putting together is a VIP package to Daytona Bike Week the following year.
Okay.
And so if you get 4 tickets down to the bike week, camper rental,
The whole deal.
VIP to Supercross, VIP to Flat Track, loaner motorcycles. So pretty cool stuff.
That's rad. I got to. It sounds like I need to come check this event out and myself.
Sweet. You ever done a flat track before?
I did. I've actually done a couple of American Super Camp schools. where they kind of teach flat track, and you put on the metal shoe and the whole deal. And
Nice.
it's a little sketchy, but it's fun.
Yeah. Well, so we're for the pro side of things, we're working with Lloyd's of London Insurance Company right now to put together $1 million prize as someone to win all 5 pro disciplines.
Wow.
So obviously, I don't have $1 million if David Pigreader were to come out and win flat track motocross, hair scrambles.
Listen, I'm an old man. I'm
And
not
so,
going to be the guy.
so I need to get that insured. So we're working on getting $1 million prize insured for the pro classes. Wow. So hopefully that brings some big dogs out.
That would be awesome, dude. Well, keep me posted on that. We'll help you promote it. And
thank you.
I would love to come out actually too. That sounds like
let's do a podcast out there. You ever done a live podcasting event?
No, but I want to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've done live podcasts. We did one from Redbud years ago. We do live shows here. I'd love to come out there and do one. Nice. So we can do it. Let's do it.
Sweet. Let's do it.
All right. Talk a little bit about the track. Like one thing I wanted to dive into that I think a lot of track owners are having issues with, and I don't know the East Coast all that well, but especially everybody out here is insurance. And your dad touched on it a little bit, but it's tripled in the last, going from 20, I think it went up a little bit in 25, but going into 26, it's like tripled the amount of their insurance. And so, Yamaha has actually stepped up at Paris Raceway out here to help them kind of fund some different things to pay for that. And it's like, does the model need to change? Does the industry need to somehow step in and help that? And, it's the pit riding, like he said, it's this first lap stuff. There's a lot of different things about it. Just talk a little bit about that insurance side and why has it gotten so expensive?
Well, I'm actually really glad you asked this question because hopefully this will put some pressure on some people. But this scares the shit out of me because there's 2 underwriters in the whole country that'll underwrite insurance. So whether Lake Elsinore is getting sued out here, or a track's getting sued down in Texas, or the little practice track next door to me gets sued, we're all in the same boat. And so it's like one of us getting sued, we're all getting sued.
Yeah.
And rates are going up. And
have you guys seen that at your track too? The same type of cost increase?
Yeah. So we're all in the same pool. So when the insurance company operates as a loss, like that track may very well get shut down, but to recoup that money, they're going to be going to the other tracks. And premiums are going to go up. But not just like with the premiums. There's all sorts of new requirements for the insurance, like secondary barriers to maybe slow down a bike before it gets into the fence, or the rules. Like, for example, when I first bought the track for my dad, we didn't need flaggers for a practice day. Now we need flaggers on every jump. Stuff like they're really adamant about the fencing being 30 feet away from the racetrack in addition to that secondary barrier. All sorts of new rules on pit vehicles that cost money to enforce. So, like, in addition to the insurance cost itself, there's even more cost to put on these events. Right. And that's even greater than the cost of the insurance. But like it's hard because I'm like very in tune with this because I'm a pro national track. Like MX Sports does a great job of briefing the tracks and the pro national program, the Loretta Lynn's program on this. But the Loretta Lynn's program is only a very few number of tracks in the grand scheme of tracks. And so, like, I don't know whose role this would be. Maybe the AMA's role. Maybe it's the role of the insurance companies. But, like, someone needs to get all these tracks on board that are not a part of the Loretta Lynn's program. And, like, that's what scares me. It's not the tracks in my network, the Redbuds, the Unadillas, the High Points, or even the tracks in the Loretta Lynn's network, the Tomahawks and the Lake Sugar Trees. It's like the track in the middle of the woods that has races that are AMA sanctioned that that have never been on one of these calls.
Well, like Lake Elsinore, a perfect example, which closed and then is now in the process of reopening. But it closed because somebody flew off the track and hit a girl and killed her. And, this is a dangerous sport. We're doing dangerous stuff. But when that happens in one track, it affects, like you said, everybody. And we're coming to a breaking point where it's like, Paris has bumped up their cost of $50 a day to come practice. And people are losing their minds, because they've been paying 20 or 25 forever. But it's just like, you talk to one of these track owners about the expenses, not just the equipment, but now the insurance and all of these implements that have to be put in place to even get insurance. That costs money. And it's like, how do you make any revenue or even break even for a lot of these guys? For
sure. Well, like in addition to the insurance, it's just all the inflation in America and like the rising regulation by our governments, or especially like in some states more than others. Like I know in Maryland, my minimum wage is $15.20 an hour. The guy in North Carolina, 2 states away from me, he could pay his flagger $7 an hour. And so my labor cost is probably twice as more in the state of Maryland than even just some of my neighboring states. And then like equipment, a new bulldozer is $100,000 more than a new bulldozer was 10 years ago. All sorts of equipment. Even diesel, little things. Diesel. But like even like little things, like I had to buy new race flags this year, and it's like a race flag costs you $20 to buy these days. And I remember the first time I ever bought race flags, it was like $7 in just the few years that I've been doing this. Yeah. That everything adds up, trophies. It's hard. Like everyone sees you have a big event and you have 1,000 riders and they're like, oh, you're bringing it home. And it's like, yeah, I freaking did great this weekend, but it's just going to my overhead expenses that I lose money 8 months out of the year. Like there's a couple months where I have big races, I make money, but that just pays my overhead the rest of the year.
Yeah, they see.
And hopefully you have some money at the end of the year to reinvest and get cool new shit for your track and make your experience better.
Yeah, these people, and I try to see it from both sides, but there's some people that just go, look at all the people at this national, and they made this much money. It's like, yeah, but like you said, what about all those other weeks? We're at a loss. We're operating, spending money. It's just going out hand over fist. That's how we recoup it and actually turn it into the black,
Yeah, it's like legitimately, it's like if it poured down rain during my pro national and I lost a quarter of my crowd, like I'd struggle to make it through the winter that following year.
Yeah, it's almost like farmers, like if the crops aren't good, they're struggling. You guys are kind of in that same boat. How long have you been running the track now?
So I probably started doing events the year before COVID is when I had my first ever event, 2019.
Okay.
And so I started doing a couple events in 2019, and then 2020, 2021, started doing more events, started my own series that goes around within the region. And then as my events started getting bigger and bigger, I dropped out of college and went to play in the dirt with Dad full time. And then like the more I had invested in it, the more we butt heads. And so I think coming up on 4 years here next month is when I bought the track for my dad.
Okay. There was some we were talking about this a little bit off camera, the safety side of things. After Aiden Zing, after his death at Mammoth, there was a group of us that put together kind of a 5-point plan of things that we could have improved. Like we can't do it ourselves, but if the AMA will get behind us and, the promoters, the people behind the scenes that can actually make change, there was these 5 things we think we could make a really big impact on for safety, particularly for amateurs, and there's just, it doesn't seem like there's any interest on the side of the AMA, because I've reached out a bunch of times. I had one conversation with Mike Burkeen, who's the amateur guy there, but my calls go largely kind of unreturned, and maybe they're being quiet because of pending lawsuit or something, but I'm not trying to blow anybody up or make waves, but it's like, hey, if we can help these kids not die, that'd be cool. We have some ideas. Can we talk about it? And it doesn't seem like there's a real big interest on their side to make those changes.
Well, like me, it's like, this is my livelihood here, as my piece of land. And like, not just me, but every track, we're one lawsuit away from losing everything. And so like, people are going to be riding dirt bikes regardless if they come to a racetrack or not. But like, the goal is to try and make the racetrack as safe as possible.
Yeah.
Because what we do is inherently dangerous. Yeah. And so whether that means like putting in these new safety requirements that the insurance requires, or better training our staffs, or like going above and beyond on the track prep. Like, you can only do what you can do, but at the same time, it's so challenging because we're just humans, like not just me, but my flaggers. So over the last couple of years, like when I first started doing an event, I'd put on Facebook, hey, I need flaggers, and we get 15 people from the community that probably 10 of them have never been to a dirt bike race. Maybe 3 of them have flagged before, and you're sitting in there, you're giving them a 15-minute briefing, and then you send them out to flag. And so over the last 5 or 6 years since I started doing an event, I have great help from my safety coordinator, Sheila. She is on top of it. She's an ALS medic and has worked really hard cultivating relationships with our flagging crew. And so now we have the same flag crew every weekend. We have flaggers that have been with us 5 years.
That's awesome.
And like she's done courses. She makes them watch videos, do tests, and it's awesome. But we're all just only human.
Yeah.
It's like I've been flagging before. I'm sure I've missed a flag. Like, everyone misses a flag. It's a long day out in the sun. And it's like, no matter how trained you can be, there's still that human element to it. And then all it takes is one incident or one video to be put online, and Budds Creek has shitty flaggers. And like I like to think that I have the best flaggers around, because we've really worked hard to cultivate these relationships and train these guys. So like, I don't think it will ever be perfect, like, until there's a way to get the human element out of it. And I don't know if just through the nature of our sport, if they'll ever be possible. So I think like we just need to be as trained and as prepared as possible and do our best job, and that's all we can do, unfortunately.
Yeah. You know, the Brett Downey Safety Foundation has some cool, lights that you can put up on jumps. Yep. But again, right now that relies on somebody flipping a switch, right? So then it's still human controlled. It seems like there's coming a day where you could have a transponder on a bike, and if the transponder comes to a stop on the track, maybe the lights before it. Yeah,
like how the safety suits are in the road racing, how they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's something better that's coming, but until that time, it's like I've always thought, and I'd be willing to make it. It's like I just can't get this conversation with the AMA. Why don't we produce a video physically showing flaggers, like, hey, if someone tips over in a turn, you want to try to direct them, around the rider, and you can just kind of hold it or wave the flag gently. If somebody went down in a huge crash and they're not moving, or it's multiple people, you need to be like whipping this flag around and like showing some, sense of urgency. The way the flagger reacts as a rider, that's how I go, oh, there's something big. Or if he's just holding a flag, I'm like, all right, maybe a guy tipped over, maybe there's a tire rolled into the track, hay bale, I don't know. So like, those are the things, helping these flaggers do a better job. The ALS versus BLS conversation, which you talked about, you guys have somebody on staff flagging that's ALS. People don't.
Our safety coordinator, so she operates as a medic. She helps our flaggers.
It's awesome.
And just like, she's just another set of eyes and ears.
Yeah.
That she's like you can't see everything out on the track at one time. It takes good, well-trained people to be able to identify issues and safety concerns and then have them addressed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know why I'm venting to you, because you're a track owner of a big influential track, but it's like there's just so many things I think could be improved, across the board on the sport. But if I can't get the people who are capable of making changes to just have a conversation about it and consider it, it's like, well, okay, I guess kids just keep dying, and we'll say, oh, it's real sad, and then move on. I don't think that's acceptable. I think that's...
I don't either. But, like, yeah, it's tricky when there's that human error. Like, I even know that I've made mistakes that have injured people, and, like, I've been wrong in situations, and in hindsight, I fucked up. But, like, in the moment, you do the best you can.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, we're going to keep working on it because I'm passionate about it, and like I said, there's just some real simple stuff we could do. But anyway, moving on from that, what would you like to see, you guys doing in the next 5 to 10 years? Like, is there any big plans, or you just want to kind of keep focusing on what you're doing now and doing it better?
I think we're always evolving. I got a couple big events out on the table.
I love the one you got coming. Like, that sounds like a lot of fun.
I don't know how much I can say about this, but like potentially working on like a little redesign of my facility. I'd say kind of space wise, we're one of the more limited pro national tracks with only 168 acres. That's a event with a big footprint. So we're looking at a couple ways we can cut the cookie a little bit differently.
Gotcha.
And utilize our space in a different way. Nothing major to the track. But a pretty sizable change to our facility I'm looking at, and that, just try and really hone in on what we do well. Like, something that I've really had a lot of fun with the last couple of years is like our VIP experiences at the Pro National. Like, I've been blessed to be able to. My dad, huge GP fan, as he talked about. I've been blessed to go to dozens of races with him. Especially like the Grand Prix, and like something that they do so well is their VIP hospitality. Like, you can go there and it's like Formula 1-esque. You can sit down, they bring you food on china plates, and they have white tablecloth and 50 of the finest foods. And so I thought about that.
You mean they're not serving a turkey leg on a paper plate?
No pulled pork barbecue sandwiches over there.
Alpine Stars did a really cool thing at the Des Nations, or Motocross of Nations, I guess they're calling it now. But I'm old school, hard to change. But like, you walked in, you felt like you were in a restaurant. It was super nice, And I feel like that kind of stuff for nationals like you guys, and it's happening. I saw Washougal's doing some things like that. They got did this really neat, like almost like a gazebo deck halfway up the hill. And you could, buy it to watch from up there. So there's some neat things. Everybody, a lot of you national promoters are getting really tuned into that.
With ours, like, we totally redid our tower building, like the best viewing in pro motocross, turned it into a little lounge. But like, you buy our ticket, you have shuttle service, you have catered breakfast, snacks, lunch, all you can drink, go hang out in the AC, race on the TVs, big misting fans in the shade. Like, just so many cool people in this industry. Every time I see someone kind of notable in the pits, I give them a pass to go, because that's the best spot to watch in the whole sport.
Yeah, there you go.
You can see 95% of the racetrack in the valley from the deck of our tower building. So when I see Mike Brown or Trey Kennard or Brian Deegan in the pits, I say, here, you're good to go up and watch upstairs. Just make sure you smile and sign a couple autographs for my people up there.
That's rad.
Or then, like, on the other side of things, like, people that want like a cool experience, but not necessarily like that ultra high-end luxury experience. We did a Danger Zone hospitality ticket with the Deegan family this year. Super cool. Brian Deegan took all our VIPs from that area over out on a track walk and kind of showed them what he was seeing out there. Hayden came over and watched the start of the 450 race. The little brother was out there playing cornhole, and it was just so cool that they got that access. Like, so many super fans out there of a lot of riders. But like, obviously,
I got another idea.
What you got?
Floating houseboat out on the pond. You can watch from out there.
That'd be sick.
Double decker.
That'd be badass.
All right, I want to.
Yeah.
Dad's taking a nap.
Yeah, Dad, wake up. We can hear you snoring over there.
He's laid out on the floor sleeping. Anyways, I'm giving you all kinds of stupid ideas today, but take them or leave them.
Well, like a lot of my ideas have started as a pretty stupid idea. So
You just got to work with them. You know?
yeah. It's like you think about more and more. Like maybe it wasn't such a stupid idea.
The houseboat thing actually might work, or the pontoon boat. The right-handed stock car racing, I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, well, like nowadays, like you can. I saw down at WW they had like luxury pods that they brought in for sporting events. So it was like almost something that fits on the back of a semi truck and like had a little deck on top. And
they're portable, so you can bring them in.
Yeah, they just rented them down at WW.
Wow. Yeah, there's some cool ideas like that they'd really pay for themselves, right, with the tickets, and you'd sell them. Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, maybe that's something like that you can rent if you need it. If you sell it and you can rent it, great. If you don't, yeah.
I wonder if, well, anyway, is there restrictions? Like, could you put those down in the middle of the track?
Like probably not on the inside of the fence, but I could put it down in the valley. I'm sure. It's just like
even you run out of space
even with these VIP upsells, it's like you got to remember there's still the bulkier people are still people just buying the general admission, and you want to make sure they have a good day too. Like they're just as much of the part of the sport as the person dropping $1,200 on a ticket. Like you don't want to take up all the good viewing space. It's like you need a mix.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. If you could get those pods or something down in where, you'd have to be escorted in and out. It's not like you could run around the whole time, but
like kind of like how you asked my dad earlier, what goes into the Pro National. There's like so much even little stuff that you wouldn't even think about. Like, and then one of them, it's like the lines of sight for the TV cameras. And so like, I remember last year, 2 years ago, we have all the country flags that we put up down by the pond. That's kind of a very iconic Budds Creek thing. And I thought, why don't I move it to the other side where it's not in the spectators, it's actually on the track side. And like had to play the old switcheroo, like TV calls in the line of the sight for the cameras. We need these moved. And so it's like little stuff like that is just like crazy.
Yeah, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, even where the TV stands are, you saw Des Nations, Hampshire hit that one.
Yep.
You got to think about that. Like, we need much room.
We don't place those. Like, there's a lot of stuff with the Pro National that like the track owners kind of like it's such a big event, and there's so like I know I probably have about 400 people working for me, like between contractors, subcontractors, people that work for me, and then like you got to think TV has 100 people, Gear Services has 50 people, between all the vendors. Like this is a real work zone here, and it's like not everyone is under my direct command. And so like I remember like do you remember Josh Gilbert, the British Jew that came over and raced a couple years ago, and he hit that like T-post at Hangtown with the signage? Like yeah. Like I remember like reading through the comments on there, and like Hangtown was just getting like reamed for putting that sign there. And it's like that could have been me. I don't put that sign up. Someone else puts that sign up that's not under my crew. And so like there's just so much small stuff that goes into the Pro National. I'm sure like I don't even hear about a quarter of the craziness that happens around my facility like the week of the Pro National.
Yeah. Do they give you how much direction or instruction do you get from them, from MX Sports, on track prep?
For track prep, we work hand in hand with them on the actual track prep. Like they kind of yield more to us because we're like the experts on our own facility, but they provide their input, they ask our plan, and we work hand in hand with them, like how we're going to prep the track. And so it's like it's a collaborative effort, but like at the end of the day, they kind of lean more towards us.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if they were like, hey, this is how it needs to be done. Do it this way. Or
like, and sometimes that creates like a butting of the heads. But it's like you were talking about Hangtown earlier. It's like with our track, it's a Pro National is a long freaking day and a lot of fast motorcycles out there on the track. A lot of laps being turned.
Yeah.
Like you can't compare it to any sort of amateur race you go to for how the track gets beat up, the dirt gets moved and sifted through and cut through. And so like when you have that in August on a 100-degree day, sun's high in the sky, It's like it needs a lot of water. And so
yeah, it's a very delicate balance, right? Like, okay, we don't want dust, but we also don't want it just to be a big rut around the whole thing.
Yeah, but so it's like in the morning time, like sometimes you have no choice but to almost flood it out in the morning, and it's like it's already 90 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning, and dudes are coming off at 8:15 in the morning, looking like they just raced a mutter, and like it's shitty, but that's the only way that we can make it through the day. It's like
so it's kind of necessary,
like on a day like that, like obviously, so like prepping a track is so weird because it's like you can prep it 2 days in a row, exact same conditions, do the exact same thing, and the track's going to shape up totally different. There's so many like little different factors to it. How many riders you have, what the humidity is, cloud cover, wind, and just like even like something as simple as like where the fast guys are cutting the lines in the morning time. And so like
what about the scoop tires that have kind of become in vogue here lately, and they work really well, so I understand it, but to me it almost in certain places, and your track would be probably okay, although I remember Tomac running it maybe 2 years ago at Bud's.
I think sometimes they'll run in the morning.
Well, he runs it everywhere, and he was running in second moto at Bud's, and you could see like I don't know what you guys call it, the triple step up in the back and then you drop down that little 180. It gets hard and slick up there, and you could see him just losing the back, and he's trying to run outsides or whatever. But has that changed the way the tracks are developing and the way you guys have to sort of address it? Ruts and
like I haven't really put that into my track prep, but yeah, I'd say like conditions. I don't know. I haven't got down to a science like what kind of tires they're using, but it's like even just like
the argument is that they have to run it for the start because it's so much more effective in a straight line. Yeah,
but then he's kind of screwed the rest of the moto. It's in some conditions, like when it's a harder packed track.
And a lot of guys are switching to a 30, a regular knobby for Moto 2. But a lot of guys are like, I'd rather get a whole shot and then, change my lines or figure it out. But we're having some crashes start to happen because, they get on the edge of that thing on hard slick and they're going down. So I'm just curious from, again, asking a guy who could actually make some adjustments. Yeah. Have you ever thought about maybe making like the first 20 feet out of the gate, like packing it hard, and then you can rip it a little bit? But that would take a lot of the reason they're running that thing out.
Yeah, I like kind of going back to what my dad says. It's like even if you don't rip that, like we have to constantly rip that start throughout the day and put more water down, or else it's going to get dusty. It's like we just can't have that on the TV. It's like the sponsors pay a lot of money, and so it's like we want to really showcase them, and like we'd be doing them a disservice if we just kind of have a blowout on the start.
Yeah. But if it is a spot that only gets used 4 times a day, you could put some water down, take a dozer and track it in, but then it's packed.
Yeah.
Where a Dunlop 34 is going to hook up just as good as the paddle then, right?
Well, the other thing too is like with the Pro National, we can't prep the start till I think we're over the halfway point. Or like there's like in case there's a red flag, we can't touch the start until right before the next moto in case they need to line back up there, because it's like, say we were to plow the start and half the start's plowed, half the start's still hard from the last start, like that would create something unfair. So we're not allowed to get back. There's like also like going back into what goes into the Pro National, there's like a lot of different little rules that you don't necessarily have to think about when you're having an amateur race.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's why I really was excited to have you guys on, because there's so many of those little things that if you haven't run a national, you don't know. I haven't. So
yeah, like making sure we only have, I think, Coke products. Monster's a Coke product. Whatever Monster is, Coke or Pepsi, we can only have that. We can't sell the competitor. Like back when we have like a beer sponsor, like we have to make sure we only like have them in that category. Like Twisted Tea can only be our only our malt. Our only malt could be Twisted Tea. Yeah, like sponsor wise, like I remember I got into kind of a snafu a couple of years ago where 100% like obviously they're the official goggle, but they're the official eyewear of Pro Motocross, or they were at the time. And then I had Pit Viper as my track sponsor that I said they could come set up a booth. So I had to smooth that over with Bevo. He's a good dude, so he didn't care. But the powers that be in Pro Motocross weren't too happy about that, just because they want to be a person of their word to 100%.
Yeah.
And like that could have been a little bit different if Bevo wasn't a great friend and supporter of Butts Creek Motocross Park.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. They're paying money to be the official guy, but it's like you guys also, there's 364 other days of the year where you're operating, right? So you make partnerships and have sponsors, and it sucks to throw them under the bus too.
Yeah, no. Like, for the most part, all my sponsors are super cool with that. They understand that they get a 364-day-a-year deal, and we still there are still ways we can promote them at the Pro National. Like there's great avenues for us to promote our sponsors, even if it's not necessarily like giving them a booth or putting them signage on the racetrack itself.
Yeah.
So like that's still a good event for our sponsors that we can still amplify them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else that you guys are going to be doing that you want to talk about?
No, I think I touched on the Throttle Fest. Just hopefully working on some great amateur racing. Like one of my favorite events that I wish more people would come check out is the ATV National. I know there's kind of that rift between the bikes and the quads. But when we have that ATV National, like they're still pretty badass out there on the quads. And so if you never got the chance to check out one of them, like Budds Creek ATV National is going to be the third weekend in June, the weekend after Father's Day, and that's always a good one.
Okay.
And then, I love doing non-dirt bike events too, working with other great promoters. So we have everything from the Mud Girl Run to the Regional Monster Truck Show to a rodeo coming in. We've done car commercials. We've done influencer events. We have all sorts of stuff, and like that's cool because like there's only so many weekends a year where someone will come race their dirt bike at the track, and so it's like if we can keep the races exclusive 10, 15 weekends a year for racing, and then fill our other weekends with some other fun stuff like that, that's super cool.
Yeah.
We're working on bringing a couple more practice days back. It'll probably never be every day or anything like that, but I almost I don't think I did any practice days because just kind of navigating this insurance world. When my annual policy ended last year, I did need all new annual waivers for the people that already signed that, and that just created a headache. So I'm trying to navigate for our non-AMA practice days, finding an insurance policy and coming up with something we'll be able to open up to give the guys some seat time. Doing some off-road racing this year, kind of dipping my feet into that. Had a great race with our neighbors, Wicomico ATV Park, for the first ever time a couple weeks ago, and that was just such a cool course. So we had so much fun laying it out. It went around our motocross, into the woods, around their turn track. We made a little mulch track on their big mulch pile, around a couple of their motocross tracks, back through the woods, grass track in my backfield, around the stock car bowl 3/4 of the way, then back down to the motocross track. That was one lap.
What was the lap time?
About 17 minutes for the pros.
Dang.
Yeah. So
20-minute lap plus for most guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And it was super cool. It was cool. Like we had motocross pros, woods pros, and everyone in between all out there racing at the same time. So,
well, if you ever really want to piss your dad off, just pave a little section. Let's make a supermoto track out there.
Yeah. No, so do you remember Frankie Garcia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Frankie's actually working with me on the Throttle Festival.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of my right-hand man on that. So
Frankie's great.
Yeah, I always joke that I don't believe that he was a supermoto pro. So you're vouching for him right now.
No, he was good. He was a good rider. Yeah, he's a good dude. I like Frankie.
Yeah, no, he's quite the character.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, this Throttle Fest sounds really fun. I think Whiskey Throttle Media needs to come out and cover it. So let's stay in touch on it. And dude, I'm really looking forward to, I'm glad you took over the family business, and I know you got a passion for it just like he did. And that's what will keep it a premier facility. Like I said, I would put you guys in the top 3 best tracks in the country. I mean, you got to look at Redbud, Washougal in there, but like you guys it's always been an incredible track.
Yeah, no, to me it's just so cool that Dad made such a good, like where it came from with my grandma, my cheap-ass grandma, running people away and searching the trunk for people bringing their turkey sandwiches because she wanted them to buy something for the concession stand, to my dad, like just becoming such a pioneer of the sport. And it's like, you can go anywhere in the world to a dirt bike race and wear your Budds Creek shirt, and someone's like, I've been to Budds Creek, I'm from here, I'm from there. Yeah. And it's like people from all over the world have been to and know Budds Creek, and like,
dude, it's legendary.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like what we do is so special. It's like even me and Dad one time we were at the Rolling Stones concert, and like I was sitting there and I was thinking about like I'm not that much different than Mick Jagger. Like I was looking forward to weeks, months for coming to this concert, and like people live hard lives, and like we give people something to look forward to and like build great memories and get them through like the mundane daily life. Like looking forward to coming out to Budds Creek Motocross this weekend, or we're only 2 months away from the Budds Creek Pro National, and like they get to come out and like just make amazing lifelong memories with their families, their friends. Like that's what this sport is all about, and it's just so special to be able to do that and give back to people's lives. And so like even when it's shitty and it gets hard to have a dirt bike track, it's like it's just a labor of love. It's what I love to do. It's what my family loves to do, and it's just so cool that I can do that every single day of my life and say this is my job, working in motocross.
Yeah. Any plans or talks of having the designations again there?
Yeah, I'd love to. The Longos always treat me so well when I go over there. Yeah, like politics, it's like you got to play nice with everybody. Everyone kind of needs their shot. So I know we're in the queue somewhere. Okay. So hopefully sooner than later. I'd love to be able to do it when my dad's still in sound body and mind. And yeah, it's a dream of mine as well. Yeah. So
right on. Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on. Congrats on taking ownership of that, and all the best down the road. I'm sure you guys will keep it running and make it better and better year after year.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us. And hopefully we'll get you the Throttle Fest. If not, just let us know next time you're trying to come out to Maryland, and we'll throw you up in the Presidential Club at the Budds Creek Pro National.
Well, I'll be at the National this year too. So
sweet. Just cause, or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll be there.
You said it's been since 2002, so.
It's been a long time.
What's changed? Just coming out here for the show, or? What's the occasion that you're joining us for the first time in 25 years?
Well, normally I'm working a firefighter schedule, but because I hurt my knee in a fire and I'm getting a knee replacement, I'm probably going to do a medical retirement. My doctor doesn't recommend me going back into hiking a bunch of hills with weight on my back and climbing ladders and crawling around through burning buildings. So. Probably going to end up retiring and just focusing on the media stuff full time, which will give me more time to get to the races.
Nice. So sorry to hear that you're enforcing an early retirement.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure that's quite that adrenaline rush too, going to fight a fire.
That's why I did it, man. It's the only thing that could compare to moto. I'm not a guy that can sit behind a desk, you know what I mean, for a living. And so I wanted to do something that challenged me, that was outside, that I can get my hands dirty. And I love that job. But you got to be physically. I mean, I'm 51, so it's really probably time anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we passed some crazy forest fires. Like you fought some forest fires too.
We do everything. I'm San Bernardino County, so I mean we're the largest county in the country actually by geographical landmass. So we got all kinds of forest and wildland fire and.
Yeah, the fire department's crazy. Like I'm all too familiar with the fire department. They come out all too often to the motocross track, unfortunately.
Do they? Yeah.
But like something that was just like so moving to me is about 3 Christmas Eves ago, our barn catches on fire, and our barn is just totally up in smoke at the dirt bike track, and like so windy we could have lost other buildings if the fire didn't get contained quickly. And there were firefighters from 11 different fire departments that came out about 9 p.m. on Christmas Eve to fight our fire. And like that was just so moving to see people getting up in the middle of dinner and family time. And like I'd estimate that there was 200 firemen out there between the 11 different fire departments.
Really?
Yeah, and so like that was just so moving to see that response.
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. They had probably a blast. Like when we get, this is probably not, PC to say, but like we look forward to those calls, So I'm sure you're not putting them out. We'll run 50 medical calls before we get a fire call. You know what I mean? And so you get tired of those, and when you get a fire, that's when the adrenaline kicks in. It's like,
No, they're definitely used to coming to us for the medical calls. So that was a good little change of pace for them, I guess.
Change of pace, yeah.
Like, thankfully, no one was injured in the fire.
Yeah. You get to use.
We lost what we lost. We didn't lose anything more that we could have lost. So
they did a good job.
Yeah, they did a great job.
It's like you do so much training to be capable of those things and know what to do and how to tactically approach it, but you very rarely get to use it. So when we get a fireman, it's like, let's go. You're running to the engine instead of like sauntering out, when you get
that's some of like their technology they had was so crazy. They had like, it was almost like a huge inflatable pool, like I'm sure like tens of thousands of gallons that they just kept running loads to, filling up.
Drafting out of it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. Well, listen, like I said, I'm excited for what the future holds for you guys. I think it's going to be great.
Thank you. Sweet. Well, we'll see you in August, brother.
See you there. Thank you so much, Ezra. You guys, Jonathan and Ezra Beasley, if you haven't been to the Budds Creek National, do yourself a favor and find your way out there this summer. Thank you guys for watching. Stick around. We'll be back to wrap up the show. Hope you guys enjoyed hearing from Jonathan and Ezra Beasley. They're running one of the best facilities in this country in terms of motocross tracks. And so interesting just to hear their story of how they got to be there and kind of where that place is headed. And, we need people like that really have a passion for the sport, because it's a ton of work, and it is there's a lot of liability, a lot of risk. And so love that those guys are doing it, doing such a good job with it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And, support our sponsors. I just want to ask again, this show is going to make some changes for 2026. I hope you guys will like it, a little bit of a rebranding and kind of some things to help us adapt to the ever-changing media landscape. So we've got a couple more coming here in 25 before the season ends, but excited to show you guys the new things we have going on. And we only keep these things coming if you guys support these folks on the board behind us, starting with Yamaha and every single other partner that we have. We really go out of our way to curate this and make sure I'm not selling you any baloney, because if it's on this board, it is quality products, and man, we stand behind it 100%. So big thank you to them. Thank you folks for watching, listening, and supporting the show and everything that we do here at Whiskey Throttle, the show and the media company. Much appreciated. I really enjoy doing these, and hope you guys enjoy them as well. So Merry Christmas if I don't see you till after that, and more shows coming soon, so stick around. Yamaha is the industry leader in two-wheeled fun and performance. Celebrating 50 years of YZ in 2024, the Blue Crew is still dominating shootouts and competitions. Yamaha, revs your heart. Troy Lee Designs is the leader in off-road motocross apparel and style. So whether you're looking for a cool new paint job for your helmet, maybe your name and number on your helmet lettered on, you're looking for new gear, you're looking for mountain bike gear, off-road gear. They've got the brand new Scout line and GP and SE models. Troy Lee Designs has it all. They've been leading this industry for decades, and they're going to continue to do it. Check out TroyLeeDesigns.com. Throttle Show, we're all about supporting brands that support our sport. And there's one tire company that has never walked away from the sport of motocross and supercross, and it's Dunlop. When times got tough and the economy took a crash, Dunlop stepped up and stayed with our sport to support it and the athletes and individuals that love it. Their MX-53 line and MX-33 lines absolutely dominate this sport. Every national championship at the pro level has been won in the last decade, and nearly every single amateur national championship at Loretta Lynn's has been won on a Dunlop. So if you're looking for high performance, you're looking for amazing quality, and you're looking to support a brand that never turns its back on our sport, there's only one choice for you, and it's Dunlop. All right, Whiskey Throttle fam. We've got a sponsor here that I want to really encourage you guys to try, Element. If you haven't seen this stuff before, give them a check out on our Instagram bio. You can get in there. We've got a link that will give you free samples. You can go in and try this stuff. And this delivers just the right amount of electrolytes that you need when you're competing at all, especially if it's midsummer, humid. Think Loretta Lynn's, Nationals. You're sweating like crazy. This is the best way to replenish it, okay? Straight water is just going to flush more electrolytes out of your body, cause more cramping. You've got to get the electrolytes back in. This Element provides it in the perfect package with 0 sugar. It is vegan, keto, paleo-friendly, gluten-free. This is the perfect product for athletes or those pretending to be athletes. So it was designed by Rob Wolf. This guy is a crazy smart dude working in the science field, was developing for his own use in athletics, and he came up with the perfect formula. This stuff's awesome. This right here, the citrus salt, is my favorite. Of course, you can get it in a sample pack like this where you can try some different flavors, watermelon, orange, raspberry. Great stuff. Cannot recommend this enough. If you are racing, even at a local level, and sweating at all, which, come on, we all do on a dirt bike, you've got to have some of this stuff to replenish it right. Give it a try. Like I said, go to our bio on Instagram. You can find a discount code or a link that takes you directly to there, and we'll give you a free sample. Check it out. You're not going to want to miss that. Support these guys. They are fans of the sport, and we are so stoked to be partnered with them. Element is an incredible product that I use exclusively, and I'm so proud to have them part of the Whiskey Throttle Show. Pro Circuit is the leader in aftermarket performance and quality. Whether you're looking for a little more horsepower out of your engine, some quality hard parts to improve the way your bike feels and looks, better handling through suspension or linkage arms, Pro Circuit is where you need to stop. It's your one-stop shop. You can go in there and get everything you need to make your motorcycle go from average to exceptional. Pro Circuit's got enough number 1 plates on their wall to side an entire home, and there's a reason for that. They're very, very good at what they do. The highest quality products with one goal in mind, and that's winning. Check out ProCircuit.com. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, look no further than Toyota of Redlands. You've got to support a brand that is supporting motocross big time. At the amateur level, pro level, they are part owners in the Bar X Yamaha racing team. They support a ton of riders individually, and they support us here at Whiskey Throttle Media. And I'll tell you what, the facility up there in Redlands is absolutely incredible. It's beautiful. The folks are friendly. They're professional. And if you've never owned a Toyota, you got to give it a try. It is the only brand that I'll drive anymore. If you're buying, there's nothing more reliable, nothing that holds its resale value better. And the folks at Toyota of Redlands are just they still remember what customer service is. I guess that's all I really need to say. Incredibly friendly, professional, and just talented staff up there. We're stoked to have them a part of the show. If you see the Whiskey Throttle truck around here, the Toyota of Redlands Tundra, give us a wave and a honk. But, man, just so stoked to have these guys on board. Like I said, anybody like that that's getting involved and supporting the sport, we just want to push as many people as we can to them because those folks are rare, and especially when they have an incredible product and provide an incredible service. So get up to Toyota of Redlands, California. If you're anywhere in southern United States, southwest United States, it's worth the drive. Get over there, check those guys out. Tell them the Whiskey Throttle Crew sent you. On-switch device, something that was much needed in this sport. They've been innovating and bringing new products to market. Their latest is the new Nihilo Run Cool brake pistons. They're designed to be stronger than stock and provide exceptional cooling performance with less brake drag. Most OEM calipers pistons are made from aluminum that just can't hold up to the heat and extreme demands of serious racing. When they get hot, the aluminum will distort, causing loss of hydraulic pressure and brake failure. Nihilo's Run Cool pistons limit the area that boiling hot hydraulic fluid is able to come in contact with the piston, leaving 2/3 of the piston volume in open air with breather holes to enhance the cooling ability. It's made of a proprietary stainless blend, which is better at dissipating heat. You have issues with brake fade or brake failure, check out Nihilo Concepts among their many amazing hard parts and carbon fiber parts and titanium. NihiloConcepts.com. Seat Concepts is the leader in motorcycle saddles. If you're looking for a new cover or a new seat entirely, Seat Concepts is the place to go. They make custom seat foams, catered to your height, weight, riding ability, riding type. They also have waterproof covers and foams that will not break down if you ride in a lot of inclement weather. And they pride themselves on being much more comfortable than OEM or any other aftermarket company. If you're looking for a new seat or a new cover, Seat Concepts, there's nothing better. Guys, I want to introduce you to Rockform, and a sponsor of the Whiskey Throttle Show here that has just been blowing my mind with their products. They've got all kinds of, started as phone cases. This is their rugged phone case here that I've got, which is just bulletproof. You could throw this thing out of an airplane, probably pick it up and be just fine. And on the back here, everything is magnetic, so it'll just stick to anything metallic, obviously. But this little locking device you've got in the back, this bolts onto handlebar mounts, car mounts, adhesive mounts, magnetic mounts, and it does not come off. It is locked in. I have no fear that my phone is going to pop off a handlebar on a street bike ride. And then I like the little sport ring they've got. They've got all kinds of devices that pop in here, but this thing acts as a stand. If you want to sit this thing up and watch something on your phone or work on it, just absolutely incredible. And this is magnetic as well. All kinds of amazing products, guys, for your phone. Kind of that's their primary function. They also have the G-Rock speaker. This is basically made for golf, and you just stick it to the frame of your golf cart and get after it. Got great tunes all day long. So a ton of products, but check out our boys at Rockform. These guys are killing it. I'm so stoked to be partnered with this brand. You know, we really pride ourselves on partnering with elite brands, really, really high-level companies, and Rockform is right on cue. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look at elite brands, really, really high-level companies, and Rockform is right on cue. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Prix. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, Prix makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the Polaris RZR 800s. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than Prix. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, if it wears out, Prix makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. All right, so you had a tip over in the garage or at the track and you broke your lever off. What are you going to do? Go to Arc Levers, guys. They're the only people you need to check out in this space. Arc Levers, everything manufactured right here in the United States to craftsman precision. The stuff is awesome. Whether you're looking for an entire clutch perch with maybe a bigger wheel, they make the wheel super easy to find and adjust. Or maybe you just want replacement levers. They do that as well. Anything you're after, they can change the throw, the feel, everything you want, custom. They can make them feel different, look different colors. These guys are dialed, man. They've got all kinds of cool products. If you haven't been over to Arc Levers and seen what they've got, check them out. These guys are being run by factory Honda. If they're good enough for Jet Lawrence, I think you and I can probably make them work. The Star Racing Yamaha team, a lot of factory riders running them for good reason. They're the best products in the business. Check out Arc Levers. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by motosport.com. It doesn't matter if you like to pull a throttle cable on a dirt bike, street bike, side-by-side. Motosport.com is putting riders first with parts, gear, and accessories, including some of our partners like Troy Lee Designs, Dunlop, Pro Circuit, and more. They offer first returns free on apparel so you can buy with confidence. And Motosport.com offers fast, free shipping on all orders over $79. Make your next ride your best ride. Visit Motosport.com. If you're considering a facelift for your dirt bike, look no further than TBD MX. TBD MX offers fully customizable graphics. Whatever you want to put on there, it's up to you. You're the boss. You want a military theme? No problem. Give them an idea of what you're after and they'll make it. You want to put unicorns on there? Well, that's super weird, but he'll do it for you anyway. They use the highest quality materials cut to the exact die lines for easy installation, which, if you've ever put graphics on, you know is important. No bubbles, no creases. They fit perfectly. And they offer fast service and shipping, so you're not waiting around forever to get your bike dialed in. So stop looking like a dork at the track. Go to tbdmx.com and get yourself dialed in with a set of graphics that you want, with your sponsors and the things you want to see on it. TBDMX making the best graphics in motocross, and the Whiskey Throttle Media Crew and the Whiskey Throttle Show is stoked to be partnered with TBDMX. Follow them on Instagram, give them a follow, and follow along with all of our bike builds as we feature the TBDMX graphics on all our builds. Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts for kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody. You name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. All right, the sun is shining. That means you guys need to find yourself a good pair of sunglasses and look no further than Rockwell. These guys are making some incredible shades right now. They're all designed here in the USA, made in Italy. Very, very high-end craftsmanship on these things. They've got so many different models for men's and women's styles. There's floatable glasses, so if you're out on a lake, on a boat somewhere this summer, go out, find yourself a pair of the floatable ones. They've also got wireframe. They've got wraparound. Anything you're after, any style, Rockwell makes it. We are also working on a motocross goggle that is going to be insane. We're in the development stages of that. I'm helping them with that, as is Justin Hill and a couple other guys. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. They also make all kinds of casual wear. Rockwell is getting it done in all kinds of markets. But the sunglasses, whoo, these things are next level. Check them out, rockwell.com.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. I'm kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
The Specialized Science Club introduces the Levo 4. An electric mountain bike so advanced, it borders on sorcery. Together, you and the Levo 4 become a harmonious hybrid of organic and synthetic. It's a rider-enhancing machine that transforms you into a cycling cyborg. 720 watts of power and 111 Newton meters of torque, amplifying your mortal muscles, allowing you to bend space and time to your will. All channeled through futuristic suspension, with honed geometry, granting super control while traversing extreme terrain at hyper speed. With supernatural power delivery, you'll have super traction to conquer climbs where others spin out. And you'll tire, if at all, before the bike does. Thanks to the Levo 4's super range.
Thanks for checking out the Whiskey Throttle Show. If you guys liked it, be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified anytime we have a new show go up. You can also go over to WhiskeyThrottleMedia.com and check out all of the content, new bike builds, new bike introductions. We've got all kinds of features in the moto and off-road space, as well as all of the current Whiskey Throttle shows listed there. You can find our YouTube channel to get a complete list by season of all the shows we've done, well over 100 at this point. And also follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, like, subscribe, comment, all that junk. We'll see you guys.